Oh, we are live. Hello, hello, Tartarian hunters.
Good evening.
We are live.
Woo! Tartaria
Happy
Australia
Solstice.
with Martin fucking Leidtke. We've waited
Martin
all year,
Leidtke.
brothers and sisters.
What is that feeling? What is that feeling? It's the solstice magic, man.
It's the solstice.
You know what there's the word
energy
ice
wave,
in
baby.
solstice?
Solstice.
All right.
Sol ice.
How are you, Martin?
I'm good. I'm fantastic. Yeah. Really stoked for this.
Thank you for joining us.
I know. I'm in Australia at the moment.
Yeah.
Wow. Did that happen?
You are. You're
yeah.
sitting in front of Ayers Rock, mate.
Here
Feels
we are
weird.
on the solstice, Martin, on the 21st to the 12th, 2021. Here we are. And here you are, beamed into Australia. Tartaria hunters, Australia-wide. Everyone has so many questions for you, brother. Are you ready to spill your guts?
I'm always ready to spill my guts.
You can't keep them in. Stop.
So, Martin, here we are. We're in Australia. The beginning and the end of all this crap. We're here in Australia with one of the most amazing, Tartarian demonstrations on the plane in the realm. Tell us everything you know, brother. Can't wait.
Well, there's a beach today. Yeah, that's for sure. It's rock, isn't it? They're having some sort of solstice party get together. I know Zal Moxie's been talking about it. I've been sharing the link. So I hope many people turn up. I hope everyone enjoys today. There's something special about it for sure. I can feel the energy already. It's only 8:45, stupid o'clock in Britain'sville. So, where should we start? Australia, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the first I looked into when I got into this. I thought, well, I'll have a look at Australia. It was America I looked at because of San Francisco, Chicago. So I thought, where next? Australia, back in the day. And if you're in Britain, if you vision Australia, so it's Leo Wanker, Kylie Minogue, Sydney Opera House, and Sydney Harbour Bridge. This is what my vision is of Oz.
And Vegemite.
And Sydney and Prisoner Cell Block H.
And the funny thing is, Leo Wanker used to paint the Sydney Bridge, so there you go.
Paul Hogan in real life.
Yeah.
Oh no, on the sketches. Yeah. I know that's the irony, isn't it? I think they're trying to tell us something. I got a picture here. I got pictures here of before they put up the Opera House, the Sydney Opera House. Did you ever see what was there before?
No, I haven't.
The big fort, wasn't it? Under the Opera House.
It was a big fort. It's a castle, more or less. I got pictures of it.
It was a castle right on the water.
It was a castle. And in Melbourne as well, where they had that giant, the biggest tram terminal in the world at the time. On that little peninsula there was a star fort there before, apparently, according to them. It's just only star forts there as well. Yeah, I know. So back to Australia. So it was the first place I looked into, and first thing was what is going on with this place? It's just mad. Look at the size of these monuments. It's just, it all looks like central London. It's just mad. And then I thought, well, how is this possible? And first place you look, obviously, is Botany Bay. The narrative for Botany Bay and the landings. And it's so late in the day for the rest of the world. We're talking late 1700 year, 1792. And then by something less than 60 years later, there's an entire infrastructure and civilization there. So I'm thinking, well, how did the criminals do that? Come to think of it, what criminals? I only know of Ned Kelly. I don't know of any more. So that's just a narrative, isn't it? That's just bullshit. For sure. You just mentioned, Campbell. Apparently, they built their own prisons. That's non-believable.
Not only did they build their own prisons, they built the most extraordinary, beautiful prisons you've ever seen.
Well, it occurred to me the other day, if you think about the vastness of America, okay, the place is massive. And they say in the official narrative that it's the New World Columbus goes there, discovers it. So what? You got this entire continent with no previous civilizations. It's just insulting our intelligence. So if that's the case for America, well, it's the case for Australia too, methinks. And then you had a giant civilization. That place is an entire continent, a world in itself.
Yeah.
And your major cities, you know, Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane, and all the architecture in these places is like second to none. You know, they made a lot of attention to detail. You know, Phoenicia is everywhere. You can see a Tartaria underneath. You can see it's all there. It's just the most mind-blowing thing. So yeah, I think
have you looked at that?
A lot bigger, a lot. I think it might have had a melt on. You know, the Great Western Desert's the second biggest. You know, it's like up there with Gobi and Sahara.
Yeah, and the sand is totally red. It's just bright red sand.
It's totally red. Yeah, so that's the oxidation. So there's a lot of iron content. Obviously, that's what the red is, isn't it? It's Fe, it's iron oxide. So why? Why? You know, I juggled. I wrote about it in my first book of the idea of, you know, like Sahara having, like the old maps show, a giant civilization. Platforms. Australia too. Maybe you just all got melted and dustified, and you know that's all that's left. And that rock behind you, Kelly. You know, I think that might have been some sort of artificial monument at some stage.
Australia, it's loaded with the martin. The whole of the interior of Australia is just these monolithic structures. It's like totally red, or the ground, or everything about it's red. But such little information from our Indigenous. And welcome, JC. JCK is in the house.
Hi.
We couldn't help it, Mum. We had to bring on the big guns tonight. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm so excited. I was, because Kelly and I chat all the time, and I was like, she said, we're having Martin Leidtke on. I said, what?
Well, this day is just getting better and better.
I said, tell him, I said, what? She goes, come on the show. And I said, no, I can't. So I'm really excited.
Listen, you two. I'm excited because I only had two people I wanted to speak to this year outside of Campbell, and it was JCK and Martin Leidtke. So I am experiencing an amazing moment right now.
I'm so
all
excited.
of my favorite brains are in the house.
I'm just gonna Brian's. Yeah, we've got to say Brian's. We're just gonna, I'm just going to sit back and wonder at this incredible cerebral group of people.
I know there's a lot of Brianage going on right now.
Well, I'll bring in the metaphysical stuff. How's that?
Good, it's needed. It's on our minds anyway. Awesome. You know, look at my metaphysical necklace. It's got a Libyan glass.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So it's that melted stuff, you know, from the events that I was just talking.
Did you get that from Martin? I forget his name.
Justin, Fight Master. Yeah, awesome guy. I think he's in New Yorksville. Let me show you my shirt, guys.
Oh, I love it.
Masks, Apple Gimps.
Look at my shirt.
That's better.
Wonder Woman. Woohoo! And you got like bracelets on as well.
You win.
I thought
you Wonder Woman. You're Wonder Woman. You're Lindsay Carter. Well, not the new one. Not the new one. I'm a bit like that about the new one. Not the new one. You know what's going on with that, Campbell? She's built like giant haystacks, isn't she? Something going on.
Well, we need some magic. Did you guys feel anything different? Yeah? Did you feel anything different when you woke up, Martin?
Yeah. Well, I always feel different, but my dreams are like just mad and prophetic. I had to be dragged away from the one this morning when the alarm went off. I was like, oh shit, that was so good. Can I go back?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, like my dreams have been like I mentioned to a friend only last night. The best they've been since I was a child. So I'm wondering whether that's some sort of message from the universe, what it could mean.
Are you astral traveling a lot?
Honestly, I'm just. Somebody asked an interesting question. You know, I said that I like sort of navigate the matrix in my head, but I have a vivid imagination. That's important. But I'm visiting people or seeing people, saying hi to people, and then they're contacting me straight away because they know. And I'm like, well, this is just undeniable, isn't it? So, and somebody asked me, well, why don't you go and see where the where the ice is, the ice wall. Why didn't you go and see the, you know, the dimensions in this place? And I'm like, well, I can't. There's a wall there. There's a block fucking wall there. They will not let me see beyond that point. I can't go up too high. And I thought I had complete, complete anonymity, you know, that I could just zip around in the matrix, but it's not. It's confined. So they literally, like, you know, if it's demonic entities or whatever, it's shit blocking me from the troops.
I've seen that ice wall. I tried to do a remote view, and because I did one of Antarctica. I don't know if you know about this, Martin, but yeah. Well, it was like I saw a precipice, sort of. It was really weird. It was like where the wall meets the dome, where the wall meets the
Yeah, well, I've heard people talk about this corner.
But just outside, it was like a bottomless pit, and then more land. Yeah. So more terror. Yeah, but it was like this bottomless pit.
But I can't, like, so, like, if I say, you know, that I want to visit the Statue of Liberty, for example, I can't go there. It has to be an energetic connection. Yeah. So it has to be another spirit. You know, so I visit, you know, go wherever, but it's got to be a person, basically. There's got to be another energetic soul in this thing. Otherwise, you can't really do it. You know, it's like, well, there is a physical presence, buildings, but it's not sentient. So.
You need to try getting Merkaba together. So the way you do that is with try to journey with your divine feminine. So try to journey with them. Yeah, and you do that, and then
God's a chick, man. It's not a cruel fat guy in the clouds.
Martin likes his divine feminine.
I think God's Phoenician. I think God's from Venus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think something definitely iffy with that.
Not fit.
Venetian.
We need to talk about that, Kel?
Yeah, man. We're going to bring Venus into this discussion, Martin. We're ready. We want to talk about Venus versus the Phoenicians.
Venus rising.
Have you thought about the Venus connection ever, Martin?
Well, do you know what? Funny enough, right? With the Venetians and the Phoenicians, and only yesterday on the official sort of Google thing, I'm looking for my phone, and they thought, the first original Venice found. I'm like, what? You know, it's like, you know, they keep responding to what I'm sort of posting what I'm researching and stuff. So Venice is the key to it all, isn't it? That's their civilization, was watery, no doubt about it. And it's in a sort of copy, the first imitation copy of streets. You know, the streets in the big broad streets in Australia. You know, these are veins. These are shipping canals. These are shipping
in South
ways.
Australia. Yeah, South Australia's got huge, wide streets. Remember, you know, Kel, they sort of say, they try to explain that as this, you know, that it's for
horse and cart.
Horse and cart.
So they build. America's ready for the car, but it hasn't arrived for another, you know, God knows how many years yet. But they got these big, massive wide roads ready. You know, it's like good town planning of.
They've got in Kalgoorlie. It's ridiculous. Like in Kalgoorlie, which is the middle of the desert. It's just there's nothing. It's literally the middle of nowhere. There's suddenly all these big red brick buildings, and the streets are just so wide that they say it's so they could turn, like, you know, bullock teams when you have like 8 bullocks.
Yeah.
So I could turn that because they're so wide. It's ridiculous.
And when I was a little kid, I was like, everything, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and everyone just goes,
just like,
listen. Researching Tartaria in Australia is the most retarded thing. I've got a lag behind you, Campbell, if I'm interrupting you. But Tartaria in Australia is so awesome, Mum, because everything is ridiculous. Like, basically, they only have, like, this small, tiny period to explain everything away. So every single thing they say is so compact and ridiculous. They can't get it. You cannot, once you've seen it, you can't, like, take any of it seriously. And it's just the same story over and over again, compact.
With the history rollout,
Melbourne's the best story of all.
Melbourne's. Can I just share a couple of things? I got so much odd stuff. It's hard to even imagine.
Do I have to give you permission?
Everything in Australia was built based on a competition. And then someone won the competition, and then they built like 78 buildings.
Yeah.
and died at age 29.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
You see that
And
up,
when was
Campbell? There you go.
Melbourne? It was in 1848. 1848, I think Melbourne was founded. And by
It was
18,
late
what
in
was
the
it,
day,
65 or something, it was the richest city in the world.
Yep, thanks to the gold rush. The
Yeah.
old gold rush, man.
Gold
We
Thanks
rush.
fucking,
Gold rush.
yeah,
Sorry,
all
Martin.
the Chinese immigrants
Speak.
came in, flooded Australia, found all this gold, came back, and bang, every building is explained away,
Flinders
including that
station.
one.
It's just
Like,
insane, this.
It's
Isn't it?
now a train station. It's just insane.
Yeah. Funny how they had that false flag right outside by here on the crossing.
Yes.
You remember
Yeah.
that? The one
Mhm.
Pete Truth was talking about?
I was actually there.
You're joking.
Yep, I've been in the weirdest. I was there at fucking the Tiananmen Square massacre.
Yeah.
I was there.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
get fucked, right? And you know what's so amazing?
You can't
When
make this
I
shit
came
up.
I came across the Mandela
What happened
effect.
to the man?
Was they told
Yeah,
the man
exactly.
got run over,
What?
and so when I saw the Mandela effect
Ah.
and the student ends up on the tank and doesn't get killed, I'm like, this stuff's bullshit. I was there, and it was like same with this. I
Wow.
was there when it happened,
Wow.
and I was there at the Madrid bombings. What is wrong with me? I've aligned weirdly
Who are
with
you? Who do you work for?
yeah.
Kelly's a god.
Yeah.
It's interesting you're there, though, all the
You're
time.
just a god.
What is that? Looks like a giant mushroom. What is that?
Whoa.
That's a
Mushroom.
corner of Allura. Ayers
Uluru?
Rock.
No
Yeah.
way! I have never seen that perspective.
Yeah, it looks like a giant chunk of crystal, but it looks like it's been fused. But it looks like, what is it? It's not weather, not rain erosion. Look, the line's
I have to
coming
run
down.
this sense 1 second. I'm back. I'm
Nah.
back.
So what is it? It's wind erosion. Line's coming
Kelly
down.
has to go shopping.
Kelly's got her door.
Yeah.
Usually it's your cat. Campbell.
Oh,
It's-
love them. Love them.
yeah, I know.
Says
right?
Melbourne, Red
No.
Bricker.
Wow, more
Melbourne
red brick.
Hospital.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be a lamp? What is that in the foreground?
Well, you have beautiful lamps in Australia. This thing here, well, there's no wires. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
One of those.
Trains
Okay.
over.
Melbourne's covered. I'm not on Sydney. These things here without wires.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
But look how old this church. This is
and they
old.
just explain Gothic architecture to be this, little period of time in the late 1800s, and it's just they can't explain it away with Australia,
Revivals.
and yet we've just accepted it. We've just accepted it, haven't we?
What are these old maps
There's-
that are showing up
There's
of Australia
starports in
being?
Australia.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, that can.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Wow.
There's some good star forts in Australia, like in South Australia. There's star forts on the beach that look like star forts, but star forts were supposed to be not built past 1750, right? And then there's not supposed to be anyone in Australia until
Not supposed to be
1788. So
Right. Well,
there goes that narrative.
I'd
Is
Is
that
say
that,
in
is
my
that
last
Uluru as well?
post-
Is it?
Yeah, it is. But look at this. Look at does
What?
nature do right angle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have never seen this
Yeah.
perspective.
I got a few of them. I posted
Even
about
that
4
flat
years
bit
ago.
looks like it's had
What
wood or
this?
something,
I
Put it-
can't
and then
imagine what
poured
natural.
it behind the wood kind of thing.
Where to?
Yeah.
Well, look at this
Yes.
sheen. You hear how
That
smooth
top
it
bit
is.
looks like
Yeah.
it's poured. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of so people
ridiculous.
think that Uluru is an old tree stump. Some people say that. What do you think,
Oh yeah.
Kelly?
but-
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, these carvings here. This looks like machining. It's just too
Yeah.
smooth and it's cut away. And I
Yeah,
can't
looks
imagine any
like-
geological forces that would cause this clean cut, is what I'm saying.
Looks like
And there's
mining.
a swirl as well. Can you see the swirl?
Yeah.
Like what you get with one of those
Yeah.
Yeah.
mining devices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you see them here?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
So, it could have been just like, that's all that's left. Like literally strip mined Australia to that extent that they get to the middle and that's all that's left. We'll leave it there just to rub their faces in it. Because they're that
It
evil.
definitely feels like there was some sort of massive weapon of destruction that literally annihilated the interior of Australia. I mean, we know that Pine Gap is massive, and we know the undergrounds in the middle of the desert's massive in Australia. So Ayers Rock probably is a melted down something to do with that. I felt
It just
Like a
looks
melt-
too artificial. You know, there's so many
That's
bits
true,
of
Martin.
it.
Yeah, it does.
You
It
know,
does
they look like
artificial.
man-made. Right angles.
It
Nature
looks-
doesn't do right angles.
Looks like Sodom and Gomorrah. Like it looks a
Wait
lot
a minute.
like Sodom
Did we
and Gomorrah
just
and those
suggest
Middle
that?
Eastern things.
Did we just suggest that Uluru is man-made?
Well, it looks
Just quoting
artificial,
on
yeah.
this concept.
I do.
'Cause
I
that's-
suggest.
I like that idea.
That it's man-made, or maybe it was natural and then hacked to pieces with machinery.
Well, that's what I'm trying to suggest. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it looks like the thing was something originally. There's bits with like right
So-
angles. Bits looks like there's walls, and there's bits that look like there might have been
I
doors and windows.
suggest-
It's just
I suggest that it was a tree, a giant tree that
Yeah.
was like it was like the giant tree of knowledge in the centre of Australia,
Or the
of
heart.
Terra Australia. Yeah, like
Yep.
the heart, and it was the centre of all that is and all the wisdom. And when they came and strip mined the whole of the land, in came the machinery and
Mhm.
I
dismantled
think that's
it.
when the energy dropped, is when they chopped the trees down in this realm.
Yeah.
You know, when they were bigger. You know, because the trees and us are like that. We are that. We are
Yeah.
together. We are the same.
Yeah.
And when they chop them big trees down, that's maybe the
Mm.
fall of man, where we just end up these littler people. Look,
Oh,
right.
big
So
antennas.
Queensland floods all the time. So why would you build mud flood cellars in a place
Yep.
that just floods all the time? Makes no sense. You
Mm.
know, Melbourne, like in 1800s, was like nearly obliterated in a flood, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, so
Yep.
it just makes you think. You know,
And
why?
Australia floods
Everything
out.
was,
Like
and-
the desert floods out all the time. Australia goes into flooding so quickly, and we have an inland sea that runs every single year, basically. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning that old maps and that giant
Mm.
inland sea. I was just going to say about that. And now that
Did you-
that place is the jungly bit up in the north, which sort of suggests dampness in the past. So
Mm.
it might be true, you know.
Well, it's
See that
pretty
picture
dry
there?
there, but it's more
yeah,
tropical.
orphans.
Guess the name of that ship?
Orphans,
The Black Orphan,
the
The
orphan
Royal
Express.
Tar. The Royal Tar.
the Royal Tar.
Yeah. She eventually has a nasty ending, the Royal Tar, but she was used to just ship large amounts of parentless
Tar.
kids over to Australia. You know, like you get the First World War, and they're
then
offering
back
like
good.
all over the side of buildings in Britain. It's like, move to Australia, we'll give you £10. Yeah.
Mm.
And people
Mm.
were just like, you know, sending their
Yeah.
like, little kids there on their own for what was believed to be a better
Well,
beginning.
in World
Do you-
War II, I think it was, they had, was it Petticoat? And they
Yeah.
literally, they went in and they told all these parents, oh, we've got to get your babies out because we're going to be bombed and they'll all die.
Mm.
And all these parents just gave their kids over to these to strangers. And they flew them all off to America. And
Yeah.
I don't
And same
think
with
they all
Australia.
came back.
World War
Pictures.
II
I got
was
pictures of the
And
planes. It's
Australia,
just-
no doubt.
in Australia. They
Mm.
shipped kids, orphans over to
It's just-
Australia, and a lot of them ended up in, was it
Oh,
Ballarat?
from England.
Yeah.
You
There
did
was a
have like
orphanage.
Abbott apologising
Yeah.
for the treatment of all of these human beings a few years ago, but I don't think it really washes now.
No.
You know, the abuses of humanity for like, and it's still going on now. Nobody can tell me it ain't. These
Martin, do you think-
institutions.
Do you think, you know how they're pushing the jabs
That's
on
Perth,
like,
that one, I think,
adults
isn't
and
it?
Sorry, lovely.
you know how they're pushing the jabs on all the adults, and they're saying, oh, kids don't need to be jabbed, etc. And then we're going to possibly have this mass genocide of people, and we're going to be left with all these orphans. And is this their attempt at another reset or another?
Yeah,
You
you
know,
got
I mean,
it.
that's the
There will be
know.
a lot of orphans, and
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
happen. Everything you just said is true. Yeah.
And the trees told me that.
Mm.
I had the message from the trees not long ago.
Yeah.
With all of that
When you have a reset, there's definitely a purge in them. It's called pruning the masses, and they've always done it. Okay. And I've posted about this first time 5 years ago, saying, I was like, hang on, do they wipe us everyone out, rewrite history, lie about the past? But I gotta be honest, like at this stage of the game, I'm convinced I'm not in the same realm as I grew up
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I'm finding
Yeah,
stuff
as
in the
we
daily-
were 5 years ago, yeah.
No. And there's
No.
stuff showing up daily that's just splattering my brain all the time, Campbell. Like yesterday, there's like,
Well,
I found a link. And it's
Yeah.
like, they just put in this year on a daily, on the computer, on a daily basis for me to pick up on, for me to talk about. You know, like actually like some sort of like unwitting spokesman to a giant rollout of because at first, you know, I thought, well, Michael Jackson only said, oh, history's fake, yo. And he's dead like a week later. So it's like, oh, all right, then I really don't want that one out. I think I'll talk about that one. And it's just undeniable that they've rewrote history. And there was an incredible civilization that just went before us not long ago. There was giants here, these buildings, you know, we were co-inhabited and shared a society with lovely, gentle giants. And this place was highly spiritual. You know, people had time for, like this dude, consciousness, expansion, art. Can you imagine any of them creative works of the Renaissance period being copied in modern day? Why not?
Amazing.
We're supposed to have come on a bit, haven't we? Whatever.
Exactly.
It's just another world that we don't even understand. So
we've got this
That's where
really
going back to it as
interesting.
well.
Campbell, I got to let you know I've got a lag with you, so you come in and sound like I'm talking over you, but it's just a lag. So we've got an interesting thing with Australia, Martin, because there's literally like 3 timelines converging. One is obviously the false white man timeline, where we saw Captain Cook arriving with the convicts, which we now know were soldiers, and they were here to do war with our Indigenous, the original law keepers. Number 2, we've got the Indigenous history that says they've been here for 47,000 years and more, and that they've never seen these Tartarian buildings now, which is a real thing that we want to talk about. And then we've got the Tartarian history, where we're walking around seeing Tartaria every fucking where we go here in Australia.
No, these buildings belong to the Aboriginals. It was their country. The white man comes and just fucks everything up everywhere he turns up. This empire that we're all part of, which is now imperialism, by the way, and we're all in deep shit. Nobody even twigged it yet.
But what explains away that the fact that the Indigenous have no reconciliation with Tartaria in their art, their culture, they have nothing,
oral
they've
tradition.
got nothing.
You know, I picked up on a book years ago concerning, like, they interviewed some Navajo Indians, and their job, they were diggers. They were diggers, and they stated in this book that we're going on to the next town to dig that out. Okay, apparently the Chinese were doing the same. So they built the railway or dug the railway out, went on to the next town, dug that out, onto the next town, dug that out. And all ancient cultures would say these buildings, they were here before. There was people here before us, you know, an ancient civilization. They're just living in the remnants of it.
That's what they call the Aussie soldiers, diggers.
Yeah.
Right.
In
America call them doughboys. I don't know why though.
Could it be
money.
Could it just be that maybe the Indigenous people, original people, lived in another realm, and then they merged frequency-wise? I'm talking, and that's why they couldn't see it, and they couldn't see it, that these things existed in multiverses or multi-dimensional places.
Along them lines, something like that is definitely going down. I have no doubts.
Yeah,
I feel like I think that everything is now, but I'm also under the thought that all of history, like in 1900, just imagine this: 1900 is there in 1900, right? So people in 1900 are walking around in 1900. So that would mean that they're there then, or that would mean that they exist right in this moment now. So all history exists right now at this time.
Yeah,
so these pictures we're looking at an instant of like nowness, because there's no time is a construct. I'm yet to decide exactly what they did and why they wanted it. This construct of time, what exactly does it do? I'm trying to work out. Look, criminals, Australian criminals.
Crimes.
On a wine bottle, Oh, you go on a website and then follow these bullshit made up guys. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, what is this?
So you buy the bottle of wine. You go on the website. You get pissed. So easier to like believe gullible stuff, and then they give you a website, and you can look up all the names of these 19 criminals. And find out their lives, convictions, transportations, etc. When they're building all of that cool stuff. I just showed you. There you are. Inspired by those beginning in 1788, who were transported to Australia for a life of hard labour. Many did not survive the journey, right? So they went there half-starved, emaciated, and built a civilization. Okay.
Yeah.
For the beaten people who made
no tools.
With all the ships.
It sounds like they're
red
crawling
bricks.
a beach to this narrative, don't it? You know, I got there just alive, crawling up.
with my sheep and my cow that I've kept alive for 6 months at sea. I've arrived.
My sheep following behind
people died.
Fucking hell. We did the maths one day, Martin. Yeah, it's fucking the mass on the animals is ridiculous. That the amount of animals on those ships they kept alive for fucking 6 months with all their manure, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's in Melbourne City, that building.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I've checked this one out. Yeah, looks like fucking Jack the Ripper, man.
Yeah, but why do they let these buildings go to shit? It's everywhere in the world. It's the same in Cardiff here. They have these fantastic, identical looking buildings, and it's all dirty, boarded up. They never have anything in them. Always it's like this for sale. It's like, what? And you've got all this modern poo underneath. Yeah. Michael Hill. For your sins.
It's been really trippy during the lockdown because obviously I went marching on Tartarian hunts blissfully around an empty city, and all I saw the whole last 18 months was fucking Chinese people and construction workers. And those construction workers it freaked me out. I felt like I was in an episode of Dark City. Like they literally were like tearing down Tartarian structures and altering and changing. It was such a like, while we were all in lockdown, it fucking blew my brain.
Listen, right? I had the exact same experience, right? It's like, where did all these fucking buildings show up from? I was in a newsagent's just there, like what seemed like a week ago. So I went into a pub, right? This Prince of Wales, and I said to the guy behind the bar, mate, did you see them buildings going up? And he was like, well, no, as a matter of fact, I never. I was like, well, don't you find that a bit strange? He said, well, I think they did work at night.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Dark City. Woo!
But this is
Dark City, man. These things are just showing up at night. I'm telling you. And everyone's all hypnotized and don't fucking see it. They're all like clouded over, and it's like, hey ho, that was the way it was then. On with the show.
Are you guys experiencing time glitches a lot?
Yeah.
I'm experiencing
like last year was one day. Last year, 1 day. Yeah. All I remember, funnily enough, was summer solstice because I had a celebration there, which was 6 months ago. What? Where did that time go?
But then other times I wake up and I went out the other day. It was a weekend. I went and parked my car. It had rained overnight. I went out to my car. I felt like I'd been asleep for days, and I went out to my car, and it was dusty. Like it had been sitting there, and there was leaves all over it, and there was no trees around, like for it to. And I was like, "Whoa, this feels really weird." And I just felt like I'd been gone for days and days. So how do we explain this? Because it's happening to people in. It's like we've taken and brought back.
Well, the timeline's so fragmented at the moment. It's split out all over the way, and you've got the sheeple fucking with it like there's no tomorrow with their cameras and everything else. It's just hard to keep down, but. Where the original timeline is, I wouldn't even want to guess right now. You know, if they can change reality, you know, they could have like a John Dee, somebody who can spin that sort of magic, or they could, if it is AI and they have got quantum wave and they are determining the wave function collapse before we get to see it, which is a possibility, guys. Because history's changing real time and all this stuff coming out, man. It's just what? It's no denying it's the most mind blowing thing ever. There's another one, look, Campbell. It's carved. Looks like someone's cut it with a hot butter knife.
At the same time as all, I know, right? At the same time, like all this good information's coming out, though, like you said, Martin. Like they're obviously trying to change it, but at the same time, there's obviously a good AI or good something out there that's feeding us information and you know, and all this stuff that. You know, when you go searching for stuff, and even now when you find it, it's like, where was that 5 years ago?
Well, I don't. I just think it's angels.
Just popped up now?
I think it's angels. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's an angel's guide to me. I think it's the archangel Michael.
Information.
Just guide me straight to this information constantly, and it's only and I do this like file thing in my brain, and then I can literally like locate where something is that I want to look at. It's just the weirdest thing. It's almost seemingly it's impossible. I managed to do it. Weird.
Wow.
Oh, trippy.
We didn't get to talk much
And we
about
have
the Phoenicians
430
and Venetians.
people
Yeah.
watching us.
Yay!
Sorry.
Awesome, everyone.
Woo!
Tartarian
We're having
Hunters.
Hello to everyone in
Yay. I
chat.
told everyone, watch the show.
Yeah,
Watch
so
the
let's
Gotta
talk about
come,
this.
yeah.
So as far as Australia goes, and our history and where it sits in this whole
Plato.
unfolding of the realms and Tartaria, we've got like with the Phoenicians and the Venetians and our indigenous is really interesting with the indigenous because they are original earth consciousness. Like they are the original earthlings of this
That's
realm.
right.
So
Yep.
they hold all the attention on Uluru right now and the indigenous is about holding their bloodline. They hold this specific bloodline. And we feel essentially, we've had a chat about this, that we're here to facilitate them being placed back into the position of the law holders of the realm as the original earth consciousness. And then we get to go home, Martin. We get to go home.
So tell about the theory about all of this.
Good, because I really don't belong in this
Mission will
place.
be over.
Work that out.
Well,
No,
I've got a theory about all of this. Well, you know, I'm a Phoenician. I'm Lebanese. My background's Lebanese. So supposedly my ancestors are Phoenician, right? And then you've got
Look at you.
Venetian, but then you've got Venetian. They turned themselves into Venetians and lived in Venice, right? And they're the Cabal. They're the Cabal families.
Yeah.
But then Kelly and I were talking about the Anunnaki, and I believe that story was twisted to make them look like the bad guys, but they're actually not. And we actually believe that they're from another realm, because I don't believe in planets, but I believe that these planets, these luminaries, are stargates to other realms.
Yeah.
And the stargate of Venus is the portal of love, and that's the love frequency, and that's where the beings are that seeded this planet.
Yeah.
And so and when I don't know if you know this, Martin, I did a video recently in the snowy mountains in Australia. I was at a log cabin and I got visited by a spirit of an elder of that land, and he came to me and said our family in the sky, and he was talking about the history of the land and the crystal cities underneath and all of this, and I got confirmation by one of his ancestors who, can I read this out really quickly because this fits in with all of this stuff. So it's the Narragaw people of the Snowy Mountains, and she said, thank you, beautiful lady, for visiting my tribal Narragaw homelands, and yes, it's a very powerful country. The song lines: the southeastern Victoria Snowy Mountains are matriarchal societies, and we, the oldest ancestral bloodlines on the southeastern coast, before all the other tribes that come off our bloodlines, link back to the old world before the great floods. And they have dammed in our ancient cities. They had ancient cities. Only the oldest ancestral bloodlines have this knowledge. My family is one of them. I resonate with your message you received. And then she said to me, you're welcome, my dear. It's very powerful, because I had these 3 ravens flying around me when the spirit came. 3 ravens.
Ravens are watchers. They're watchers.
Yeah, well, they were flying around me when the 3 spirits came, and the elder came and was telling me all this about the underground, the crystals and all of this. And he said, she said, you're welcome, my dear. It's a very powerful country in the highest above sea level on this ancient continent of terror. My great-great-grandfathers would have communicated with you. And he was of crow or raven class system, known in my language as they are the highest advanced wizards. They were the original first illuminous ones.
Yeah, man.
And would crush, listen to this, would crush quartz crystals. It's solidified light, and they would consume these crystals with the purest fresh glacial water.
Wow.
And they would ascend up the spiral stairway to heaven to become immortal. Yeah, it's a tech. So she talked about ancient cities. She said that they dammed them in to their ancient cities. So the invaders came and dammed it all in. And that her ancestors, her grandfathers crushed these quartz crystals and consumed them, and they would ascend. So light, what's that? Crystalline. We're carbon-based. We're going
I always talk about lighting up, finding that frequency. You find that frequency like star in a jar, we could illuminate. And with a crystalline water, oh, wow, yeah. That would
imagine
do it.
What machinery would they have had to have been?
Well,
able to
I think of us in a matrix, like that would
Mm-hmm.
work, because I think of this as like a biotrix, like a fluid matrix simulation, if you like, and that would fit perfectly with it. That would, these Phoenicians, they came into this consciousness, and everything I can even just sense them now. They sense me too, and they just don't belong here, guys. They are just so evil. Really bad day when we gave our power over to kings and queens. I can tell you that much, because we had it all before then. And what kind of stupid day did we have? We handed our power over and our sovereignty.
I think it was a frequency drop,
Exactly.
elimination. Yeah, but they did something to disconnect. Yeah, they disconnected us from
hypnotism, more like mass hypnotism.
The grid.
Yeah, that's what's going on, and like magic as well. This is a day for them witches as well. So they don't miss this day either.
Yeah, oh no, they don't.
And that's why we have to equal it and create a balance of spiritual love, for these trying it on.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Australians.
High fives.
What if because everything exists all at once and time doesn't exist, right? So all histories and everything all exist at once. What if we're only discovering all of this because as we wake up and are aware of more and more of our history, and we're waking up and awakening our brains, we are. That's when we're seeing these things. We're seeing these things because we're waking up.
Yeah.
But it's already there.
Yeah.
And then you've got those monoliths that are all over the world at the moment. These big, that Kelly, you were telling me about 1,800.
Yeah, it's like 1,800 of them. They came out last year and got dismissed, and but they're literally all over the planet right now. These rectangle boxes. A lot were like they debunked a few of them, but there's fucking 1,800 of them. And apparently when we rise, so we were having conversation today about electricity, Martin, and the whole of Tartaria consciousness has been founded on this like ether electricity, like so lit up. And then suddenly we went into the dark ages, and then suddenly we were in space in the dark ages, and we were completely taken back, and so we were looking at electricity and what that looks like. In the false paradigm, it's this polarization. But in the Tartarian consciousness, there's this third element to that. And that third element gives you free energy from the ether, which is highly nurturing and nourishing and turns everything on, lights everything up again. So that charge, we were talking, is what we refer to as unconditional love. So when we move into that unconditional love, enough of us at the same time, at some point really soon, we're going to activate an electrical grid that turns on the ether, and then something about that reacts with the sun of man, the son of God, moves, erupts, pulses, whatever, and it totally fries the circuitry of the false AI soulless technology, and we're back into connection with the ether, 5D realm.
I think you're bang on 100%. And check this out, just to blow your mind a little bit extra. The word remains, which is what's left, is remains. Yeah, like going back into the mains. You could even have what remains. Yeah, and what remains as well. So it's what, WATT, what remains. And then all you're left with is the remains. When this simmer, whatever it is, melts down. I think, they're trying us for this transhumanization thing is a definite. They're trying to, I think the jabs are part of that. They want us borged, man. They don't want us to go home. They want to switch us off, is what they want to do.
Well, what if only 20% of consciousness is organic and the rest is inorganic consciousness? Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
I think our
just put out there to swallow.
Nothing is confined to you, Brian. Your thoughts are definitely not. We are all connected. We're like that. We're all one, guys. Yeah, we're all that connected. We're in some sort of soup together, and our thoughts come out in waves just because we can't see them. Some people might be able to perceive them, And they just don't stop in the confines of your room. They go everywhere in this realm. Yeah.
They are.
I would love to be able to do something like, you know, just to prove a point of how this place, this simulation, or whatever we found ourselves in is so malleable. Is to be able to go on a live event and click my fingers and make an earthquake everywhere in the realm all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, there was an earthquake in California today.
Wouldn't that get them to stand up and take some attention, eh?
But how terrified are they going to be of us when we realize that we are electric, that we emit, we are the conductors that emit this ether, that we will eventually turn to a point where we are being nourished and feed off the ether, and
all
food
electric.
will become
Angels, EL.
It's all
Angle
electric.
EL on the end, Elohim, EL, electric. You know, there's so many.
Elohim.
The arc, we were talking about the arc
conductors, right?
Conductors.
On the train.
Well, what if
the
true activation, you know, when you've got positive and negative, right, charge, and what if the true activation is that it's the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the reason why they've corrupted sex so much and turned it into this filthy porn hub thing, okay, is to stop those two people who are meant to be together from being together to
it would stop that. It would stop that connection. You know, it takes everybody further away from their spiritual source anyway. And, you know, essential to be like, it's just like this male patriarchal system, you know, of just brutality and, you know, just keeping, you know, women down. You know, it's been going on for a while, but it wasn't always like that, was it?
And keeping down.
You know, and this place would be infinitely better with a nice bit of, like, you know, sprucing up. we need a woman around the place to touch it.
Exactly. Bit of a woman's touch,
It needs a woman's touch. Agreed.
Tartaria is pretty feminine in its design. Tartaria is pretty beautiful and feminine and rounded and lovely rounded.
I
everything.
Have noticed this. I have noticed it, Tracy. I've noticed beautiful elegant.
And I did notice you flipped on a vagina just a second ago, Martin. That just passed us all by.
That was not meant to come up.
I mean,
it was not. It was a bit of Ayers rock.
Was it Ayers rock? Sorry.
I happened to look like a vagina. That was just your Brian. That was.
Like a vulva. Let's get the term.
I don't think it was just a crack, wasn't it?
I got away with it again.
So I mean, like the masculine and feminine charge is so interesting in the 3D nefarious false AI realm because everything's polarized, just like a battery's polarized. So when we're triggered, that polarization takes off, and then we got a charge between the masculine and the feminine, and that charge ends up usually in our realm meaning fighting or fucking, right? And so like when we go to the more evolved version of that, we end up taking charge of that charge by empowering ourselves to literally surrender to each other, surrender to the divine masculine and feminine. In that surrender, we move back into unconditional love, but that electricity is still there. So that's when you've got this electrical charge everywhere, and usually you can move into that intimate like release of that. But what they've done in our culture is they've like used that charge, polarized us in every way, and then exhausted us. So we were never able to release the charge, and the battery goes flat, and the opposite thing happens. We go limp and dead. We become a dead battery.
And so they all look like it. They're all like dead batteries. They're like walking, like they're on, you know, no charge left at all.
Yeah, notice this.
Really
wow, you put things so well, man. And yes, all of that.
So when everything's limp, when everyone has a literal limp dick, like what actually happens? We fucking conform to everything, and that's what happens. And it's like, where's the charge gone?
So porn to make you impotent, basically, is what we're saying out there, guys. So don't porn her in.
You should hear the amazing conversations Kelly and I have. Just sending messages back and forth. We're like brainstorming all these amazing things. It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah, because if electricity is everything, like if electricity is the foundation of Tartaria, and we know that electrical charge is in the ether, and something about the reset, Martin, would you agree that something about the reset a couple of 100 years ago altered the sun, and that's where we've got the sun worshipping and the fucking satanic sun worshipping,
100%.
Yeah, and so when this happens again, the sun's going to play a major role in the.
So
it's happening.
chart.
It's happening
The
as we're
black
sitting
sun.
here. She's going to roll back out now, apparently, and come back our way, but the sun.
Yeah.
But it's not the same sun because
not the
I
same
grew up with
sun.
a yellow sun, which
No.
was
Me too.
smaller.
Yellow
And now it's
sun.
massive and it looks like an
Right.
LCD bulb. It doesn't even look like a sun. And it's piss poor as well. The energy's different than what I remember. You know, the heat's completely different.
Wow.
It's just a different place. I don't know what's going on. It's just craziness. Absolute
It's like
craziness.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They got all the
I got all
at the
three of them
end.
in there in my room. I was tidying my books up the other
rebuilding
day and I
the
picked up Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I thought, shall I? Nah. Just read it for one more time.
You guys know that I feel like I gave freaking the Douglas Adam one of his last interviews on Planet Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, I interviewed him for my school newspaper and I was like
What?
13 years old. Yeah, if I can get 13 years old, I interviewed him for the school newspaper and then like 2 days later he died.
Wow, I seen him on Wogan. He was super interesting on that.
Oh, he's fucking. I loved Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Best ever, man. Zayfar Beetlebox.
Best ever.
He's the coolest man from me in the galaxy.
Wow. Oh wow.
The plane, boss. The plane.
Did you, Kelly? Did you read Tayuba Prophecy? Was it you that mentioned it as well? The
what?
The Tayuba Prophecy.
The Tayuba.
It was a book by Michel Desmarquet.
No.
Okay, so he's a French-Australian guy who wrote a book probably in the 90s, and it's pretty underground, kind of, but very popular. And he talks about being taken by these really tall beings into the 9th dimension, and they were from another realm, and they're really, really tall, giant beings and were androgynous. And he was told by these beings the history of our planet. Mm-hmm. And he's told the history of Australia and that there was this massive nuclear event that happened in the centre of Australia.
Yep.
And that it caused a deformity or caused some kind of thing to happen to the original people as a result. And and that they were very, I think, very advanced. And then this calamity happened. But I'm not quite sure about the time periods he was given because, you know, he might have been talking thousands of years. And he says that these races of beings came to this realm from different realms. So like that's why Chinese people look completely different than African people, and and then they seeded the planet that way, and that a lot of them had calamities wherever they were.
South Park.
Yeah, and then they just all melt.
They've got a South Park series where they throw them all in together. It's like the greatest show in the universe.
Well, that's interesting if you look at like the Indigenous discussion about the rainbow and the rainbow people and the rainbow bridge and the arc of the rainbow, and we've got our 7 chakras, 7 energetic rainbows, and the unification we're talking about now is the coming together of the rainbow chart. And I know, Martin, in your work, I've seen some awesome stuff you show where rainbow fucking bridges everywhere. Rainbow bridges connecting everything. So, and when you bring a rainbow together, like when it unifies, you get white light.
Yes, white light.
Well, I've got a prism in my room, and I was looking at prisms the other day. I was thinking of getting some in the new year because it was something Newton apparently spent more time studying than anything else is the quality of light. And I think, we could learn a lot. Because this place, light, vibration, resonance, sound, we need to look into it a lot more. I got prisms just shooting across my room if the sun shines. It's just so I can see like the complete spectrum, and when it melts together as well. It's just like, wow, so trippy. Yeah. This place is amazing, really. It's
exactly. How does that even
messed it up?
Happen?
Look at that.
It's such a weird phenomenon when you actually think about it, isn't it? That you can split white light up into colours.
Yeah, I know. It's just the maddest thing.
But
we only see apparently a tiny bit of the visible light spectrum. Imagine what a cat sees. You always see a cat looking at shit you can't see. They can see a lot more going on. The cat and other creatures. So their sensory perception's a lot more than us. We're just trapped in the. I will say 6. Which seems a bit tight. I imagine us in the past having many more types of senses. You know, like being able to, you know, like a rat can sense fear, or a snake's tongue can sense or smell. You know, them sort of senses where we were much more, you know, we could interact with this realm much more. We were more, what's the word? In it.
Well, much
We're
more. I think we're
blind,
like
dumb, and deaf.
it's the superheroes, right? That's who we are, like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we're all
you know, we had all
Superman.
those powers,
Yeah,
but
we are. Wonder
got
Woman.
it.
they
This
give
is
us
why
You can
all
fly,
their
you can do
crap.
all that and more. See, I think that I mentioned this to a friend last
But
night.
they give us aeroplanes to go, no, aeroplanes are for flying, cars are for driving, mobile phones
Yeah,
are for
you can't
communicating across
fly.
distances. So now we don't try to use our own powers. We're living in their stupid paradigm.
I prefer
the
both.
I want to wear my
takeover of the
underpants on the outside.
Don't be starting to do that now, Campbell, please. On an episode.
It's the latest fashion trend, I tell you.
Which superhero ability would you want, Campbell? Think carefully.
It's a big question.
And not
X-ray
invisibility,
vision, so
because
you
that can
can
only
see.
end one way bad. Okay.
I'd like to be able to like teleport wherever you want it instantly.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? I think that.
See, I've seen things teleport. I like I said, mentioned 1,000 times. Like I definitely think me and other people that I know are involved in some sort of alien, if that's what you call them, program or experiment. And I've been there right the way through the past. I've had some terrible experiences where I've been left crippled for a year in a wheelchair. No shit, I can prove it. It's just the most craziest thing because of sleep paralysis, fear, and just the weirdest shit going down. And other people who have experienced the same have come to me and contacted me just out of the blue, and just telling me my story back at me, and I'm like, but you know, my deceased wife seen this like UFO size of Wembley Stadium. I could have thrown a stone at it. It was that close, and just moved off to the north and disappeared like in a slit in the sky, like that, like a diamond. I went, she's gone. The thing was massive, and it went into a little tiny thing and disappeared. I was like, okay. Never talked to my wife about it the next day. In fact, apparently, I read later that when you do have these massive experiences, they just sort of sit dormant in your consciousness for a while. Like it's there, but it's not. And then one day, 1 month later, walking to the shops, she just stopped dead, and I knew exactly what she was going to say before she said it. And I looked at her like that. You seen it, didn't you? She said, it happened. So fucking, of course it happened. And then we just like, whoa, man. I was like, we were both just like the buzz, and we were both nearly in tears. It was like, what the fuck? There's more in this reality. And I just come out with what had happened before with me to her on the way home. And she's like, oh shit, Martin. Just like, we don't know what's going on in this realm now, do we? She's like, no, we don't. No, I'm not saying they're from up there, because I think there's water up there. Could be above the water, who even knows? But it's like you said, it's interdimensional. They're zipping in and out of these back doors. You know, there's portals everywhere, I feel. I feel there's a map like Time Bandit. Time Bandit's map. Maybe we should just get a screen save on that.
And it's kind of like a reward. It's like a bonus beat, like a reward. Like if you've, like the jab has got essentially dark matter in it, hasn't it? It's literally got the darkest matter in the world. And we're talking about keeping people dark in the dark ages. Like something about that prevents this charge from happening within that individual, which it doesn't allow them to charge up into this new activated, ether grid that we're talking on. So like that is the split going on there.
When that moment happens, Celestine prophecy, this whole place lights up. Exactly. We see what the veil lifts. And we see this place what it's supposed to be, what it really is. They're not going to be able to fucking stop that. That's happening whether they want it or not. Everyone knows this by now. So that's a given. It's just a matter of time. What do you think all this trouble's about? Shut up about flat Earth. Shut up about the history being a fake. We'll just slow everyone thinking about that down. And we'll talk about like it's like most truthers now, they just post about like Rona and shit, so they're doing exactly what they knew they would do. So it's no more like Globe Light tour, now it's like Coronasville tour, for them, doing their job for them. So just because it gets people thinking about it, with magic spells and stuff, if you think about things and talk about things enough, they become real. which is why I've never. I don't even want to say that because it brings it into the matrix, doesn't it? You know, demons and shit. It's like they ain't got no free reign here. They ain't got no say here. It's us and weakness that brings them in, and that's the end of it. You know.
Absolutely,
It's
but that's where the black goo.
It's all an offer.
That's where the black goo comes in. In everyone that I've tapped to that have had some kind of interference of some kind, I can see the black goo in their spinal fluid. I can see it, you know, going in and interfering with their connection to source and their connection to their heart. I think that's what switches it off. And I think that when you guys, especially you're talking about things where it's bending people's brains and you're trying to make them think outside the box. It's like a domino effect, right? Right, Martin? So like as soon as you started opening up this box, it's like you started remembering all this stuff, and it's just all coming to you.
Everything is connected. I just see this thing as a puzzle, and they've some intelligence has left this down for us to find. I'm telling you.
Of course.
I just know it.
It was us. It was us from the future.
No, I've said this, haven't I?
Have you?
On my vlogs, I thought like that it was because the shit I find only I would know, right? Only I would know. I think to myself, did I leave this? Because it's got my little signature. It's like seems to have my energetic signature to it. Well, like here you are, Matt. Yeah. So wow.
Because time doesn't exist, Martin. So
we're
observing this. We're observing this from the future. This is why we won already, right?
Wow.
Because we already are out of this, and we're just replaying it back. We're replaying it back to ourselves.
Exactly.
We already know the outcome. We're just replaying it back and reliving the dream.
It is.
Life is but a dream.
Wow, it's amazing.
I love it. Well, I like that you remembered your dream.
Do you remember Bill and Ted?
Sharing with us all this stuff.
I always remember them.
Bill and Ted. Is that what you said, Campbell?
I'm sorry. Yeah, remembering Bill and Ted, and I saw this on Bobby and Joe had a chat, and they're going through and they find obstacles, and they're like, I know what we'll do. Let's just make a pact that when we get back to the future, we'll come back and remove it. And then it was gone. Like, okay, now we can keep going. And so every time that something's in their way, they're like, we'll just change that in the future, and it magically changes. Now, there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
That's what we
I know, because we've got to get our heads around, and I think like this has been alluded to, but like this realm has been so like, what's the right word for it? They have taken whole structures from all and mimicked them and repurpose so much of all of our like inverted commas, like ancient spiritual buildings, all of our grandest, like massive buildings have just been they've managed to like delete it from one place and sort of like place it over here. Like they get to cut into the image and just take out a detail and put it in Australia and put this over here from this timeline. It's like this constant kind of like Minecraft. It's like we live in some weird, dark, fucked up Minecraft world.
That's right. Oh my gosh. You know,
I'm sort of into the game though, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, because I wouldn't want a game that was anything more than as fantastic and as fucked upness as this. You know, for me, because I'm like that sort of person. Yeah, it's like, this isn't fantastic enough. I think things should be moving on. So yeah, a reset, you know, is, I wouldn't want to miss it for the world.
Oh, fuck no. Hello. We worked very hard on this reset. Thank you very much.
Let's not let this work go to waste now, shall we, guys?
My God.
I felt switching overnight, you know. I felt a big switch. Like I woke up, I've had the most awesome dream, just like you, Martin. Really like I was in a paradise. And I woke up going, whoa. And I just felt that everything had turned a corner, like to the positive today. And I've been flying high all day, but I was feeling really weird this weekend where this eclipse, full moon energy and all of that. I felt timelines converging on the weekend. I felt this flip in energy. I felt 3D was merging with 5D. It was really weird. I was seeing people from my 3D world that I haven't seen in forever. And I was just like, what is this? What's going on? And it was everything was inverting. Like people were saying things that were the opposite of what they meant. And And then it was just really crazy energy. And then today I woke up and it was just, I feel like we've turned a corner. We've turned a corner. So something's happened.
It's a new day.
Wow.
It's a new day, guys, from today.
The simulation.
Like a
new day in the simulation.
Hello, it's a solstice in Australia. Come on. What's going on here? There's millions of people focusing on Australia right now. I've got transmissions lined up after this.
Oh yeah, we need to send love energy, don't we? We need to activate the sun. Everybody's talking about the solar flash.
I do that to start my day, though. I do my little routine, bang my little flash, my little Tibetan bowl, like my joss stick, and I just send outward love unconditional into the ether.
Absolutely.
And I give gratitude. Just it's no point saying thank you to the universe. It doesn't know what you're saying. You've got to just do it the feeling of gratitude for just being here. Another fantastic day on the realm. Let's get stuck in. We're here truthing. Let's go and kick some Illuminati ass today.
You just reminded me of Good Morning Vietnam. Like, good morning, realm.
Good morning, Earth realm.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got to tell you something really weird. What do you guys make of the Julian calendar versus the Gregorian calendar?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. Yeah. I got a wee, though. So just summarize it, and I'll be back because I fucking want to have this conversation.
Yeah, because I already spoke to Kelly about this morning. Okay, so Martin, where are you with the Julian calendar versus Gregorian? So we've been, in the 1500s, they switched us over to the Gregorian calendar, which is 14 days off from the Julian calendar. Now they're calculating about 14 days, right? So this is what happened to me in a healing I had yesterday. I suddenly got this psychic flash of I was outside a newsagent and there was all these old people running out and they were ripping off their masks and they had newspapers in their hands and they were going, we're free, we're free, we're free. And I could feel it was summer, and it's summer here now. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, look at the newspaper. And the newspaper said COVID con, January 6th. 2022. Wow. And I went, okay, January 6th, 2022.
January 6th.
Epiphany.
January 6th.
But if something happened, and in the vision, I went, if something happened on the 6th, that means the real thing happened on the 5th to be reported on the 6th. And the 5th of January is, in the Julian calendar, the 21st of December.
Oh, God.
Something has... There's something, whether it's a Julian or if people are not feeling anything happen today, everyone's going, when's this ascension happening? When's this ascension happening? I'm wondering if it's happening on the Julian calendar and something's going to go, because these people, what I saw was those really fast asleep old people that, wear the masks.
Well, it would make sense. The royal family and the Masons go on the Juliana calendar and their dates. That's why the Queen has two birthdays, one on birthday and one on Juliana birthday. So
So there's two solstices.
Yeah.
There's two solstices.
So that would make what, 21st plus 14? Does that make it the 6th, does it?
So the 6th, the 5th of January in our Gregorian calendar, in the Julian calendar is the 21st of December, I think. Is it the right way? Is it the right way?
Well, there was with the switch. It took ages. It took ages to come into fruition across Europe. I've got evidence local to me of when a tsunami hit Wales, and it's got the Juliana switch on a brass plate, and it's got two dates. It's got 1609 and 1611. So it's one of the two dates, and they'll say like the event happened in one of these two dates because there was a calendar shift. Wow. So it seems like there's a change in royalty or a royal dynasty. A king will die, Prince Philip, every single reset. And somebody sending me a link for a book that they found from 1830s about vaccines and stuff.
Yeah.
And they state in there that in 1835 they were issuing warrants, imprisoning people and all the rest for not basically going along with the smallpox epidemic and cholera epidemic time.
Yeah.
So this
they need a new script. Running out of ideas.
Script. This is the good old.
They're very uncreative, I'm surprised they got this far.
No, they keep repeating names. They're not. They're just that stupid. Look at Omicron and Delta islands and Corona.
I know. Oh
like
God,
that.
it's so boring.
Yeah. All right, already. Get out of our faces. We just.
Well, if they are archons, they can't create; they can only replicate. So, that, according to the Gnostics,
Well,
so
let's look at our culture. All the cities, they're all replicate. You've got New South Wales, you've got New York, you've got
New York.
Boston, Washington. They're all just replicants of
Yeah,
other.
Queensland,
Martin, I watched
Queenstown.
Hitchhiker's
Martin-
Guide to the Galaxy. Why
Yes.
build one Earth when you can build two? You know, I had an award for the knobbly bits on Norway. Yeah, so maybe they're telling us something. Why build one when you can do two? Copy Earth, yeah. And because New York, maybe it was an original elsewhere back in Sanctuary. You know, like Sanctum out there, which possibly means the Holy Land, which is possibly the real Holy Land, Phoenicia, and where all this shit played out. And then this is a piss poor copy.
This is a piss poor copy.
Perfection gave it away. They fucked it. Yeah, we're not stupid. We can see. Okay, all of us can start. We're really starting to see it now with the veils lifting, and even people were like, you know, not really that deep into the truth, starting to come out and say exactly the same to me. You know, whoa, man, what are we to do? That's what it is. See, we all need like our support systems, and with this, it's been like rough for everybody. And everyone in this has been a godsend this year, Campbell, for everyone. You know that, don't you? Yeah. Just bringing the love, keeping the vibe up,
for sure.
concentrating on their double bullshit, because we don't do that crap, yeah? And anything bad energy is just not even permitted in my realm. Yeah. No. Anyone dissing, anyone just like even thinking bad thoughts, I'll give them a chance to like be, you know, I'm not a crazy person. I give them a chance to like redeem themselves, like. But if they don't and they're still twisted and nutty, then you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go, because there's no room for that in this beautiful thing, you know.
It really feels like I've noticed that in Versus doing Disclosure, and it's brutal and fucked up in there, but in the Tartarian, all the stuff I put out with Campbell and everything we've done, like we just have this massive, like loved up, fucking smart motherfucking community who are just like fully there for the ability to discuss really big topics and not get all fucking beaten up about it, and just be really awesome and kind to each other. It's so freeing.
Not being scared to, you know, actually speak what your mind is thinking, rather than just hold back because of what people might think. Like, you know, like me saying, I think I'm part of some sort of experiment, and lots of us are. And different cities are chose for different experiments, and it's all an experiment, and we're being tested on. You know, this vaccine thing's no different to rats in a maze. You know, see how they respond when they inject them. Some will go nutty, suicide rates through the roof. All you have to do to make a pandemic is get everyone's body vibration down, full of fear, stick the telly in front of them, and they will get ill, I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's how you get a virus. That's how you get a virus. You can't catch it.
You got it.
It's all frequency.
I was thinking about all of the bullshit that I used to make myself ill over before I knew all of this truth, guys, and the mess I used to get. I'm going to get off my twat. I can't take no more of this place. You know, I'm going to shut myself into this fucking bus. This place sucks. You know, all of them crazy thoughts over stuff that wasn't even real and wasn't even important, guys.
Yeah.
And now I know. I'm like, whoa, I used to do that myself and it wasn't even real. You know, it was just part of the program.
Yeah.
Martin, when you're looking at all your research, because you've got so many files and things like that, and you're filing it away in your head and you're filing it away in your computer and all of that, and when you're diving deep into it, do you just feel, are you just diving more and more deeper, and it's all making sense and connecting and just
I sometimes feel, oh shit, I'm on an out of control roller coaster, let me off.
I relate to this. I relate.
But the community's love is too strong for me to ever step away or not persevere with this. And we are like just dipping our toes into the most awesome truth. I can just feel it right this second, you know? And that's just going to drive us forward, I think, with this truth. You know, this unveiling is not going to stop. And every single day I feel more empowered. Every time I speak and do a new vlog, I feel that we've come again further, light years ahead, you know, excuse that phrase. But
we're just going to think our way out of this.
Well, that's the way it's got to be done.
You know what's so glorious about Tartaria?
Create
This is
our
one thing I
expert.
just love straight away, was that there's no gurus in this fucking space.
No.
There's no intel or magical insiders that are here feeding the information. There's no fucking any of that crap. Like, you know,
It's a
all
ma-
you get with Tartaria is us, is
Yeah.
human beings who are just like being
Doing their thing.
authentic and doing their thing and doing their research and
Asking
seeing it with their own
questions.
eyes. That's
True.
it. It's so liberating for that, right? Amazing.
Love
We
it.
have
Not in
no
my case,
insiders.
so-
There's no insiders.
Sort of married to the job sucks a bit. That's all I ever do. Truth.
Married to the-
I
well, that's,
never
yeah,
mind
that's the
such-
thing. It's not a job. It's a sentence. And I mean,
It's cool.
this is the thing we were talking before, like the chats in the lives and premieres in Tartarian research, they're just ridiculous. Like they're just full of love and hearts and
You
unicorns.
should see my
and
chats Saturday
you
night.
go to other live streams and you
room.
don't see that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was there for it all for the end bit.
There was like
It's
1,100 people.
ridiculous.
It was
And you
just
go to
like
other live
literally.
streams and that.
Listen to this then. When I
Nothing
went
like
like that, I went like that. Can you all feel that? Yeah, because I had like this electricity coming on. I went like that on the live
Oh,
vlog.
wow.
Can you all
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that? And a guy sent me an email. He said, Matt, it's the moment you went, can you feel that? He said, my earphones crackled and one of them went off and haven't come back on again. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah, magic.
No.
Electricity,
Listen,
brother.
Keep breaking
That's what
electronics.
happens.
Why don't we do that now? We'll just put our hands up and send
It's-
love to
Yeah.
everybody.
You can break
Send
down the
love.
crappy hell, yeah.
Let's do this. Look, we've got 2 females.
Oh,
2
that's
males.
me.
Yeah, come
I
on.
can only do
No,
one.
Solstice love.
I
Let's
can
get
only
through
one
this.
do
I
Campbell.
mean,
Your hands,
That
your
green
hands
screen.
disappearing.
We have to do one each.
Send the love. Send
I
the
need a
love.
hand. Someone give me a hand.
Get your hand out of your pants, Campbell.
It's so amazing, the Tartarian consciousness, man. Like, fucking hell, what's happening to us? All that's happening to us is we're getting supercharged with electricity. And you know what's so cool about that is when
Yeah.
I think of a superpower, all of my fucking life, I've always seen myself with balls of electricity coming out of my hands.
Yes.
That
Oh
is
my
what
God.
I have
I've
seen
that.
forever.
Yes, I do that.
Oh, what was that one?
With a ball. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah, the
can
one in
make
the
them.
finger.
Do you make the balls? Yeah. Oh, nice. Spark.
So,
I can
man-
pure see my aura
That-
today, though.
oh,
I
yeah.
can see your aura.
Yeah.
God, I haven't done this for ages. How fun.
I remember
I
once.
I bet
was
everyone's doing
five-
this right now.
I remember once when I first started my
Guys,
channel.
back it up.
When I first started my channel in September 2020, I remember once I was fired up to do this video because I just go with my gut, right? And I was fired up to do this video. And I went in the bathroom and I was like, I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw this blue light just like over the top of me from behind. And I was like, whoa, I could see my aura for the first time ever. The lighting was just right and everything. And I was like, whoa,
Wow.
okay, I'm ready to go. And I felt like this presence just going, come on. It was like my higher self ready to speak through me. That was a really powerful video, that one. So yeah, I think we're all starting. It's like the Celestine prophecy.
Yeah,
We're all
it's just
starting to
Celestine
see
prophecy. 12th insight, everyone. Get to
12th
it.
Very trippy.
I've got to read it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're sending everyone love,
Feel it.
electricity.
I bet you the auras
Electric
of
dreams.
the Venetians, of the Tartarian Venetians are, which is our premise, Martin, that the Venetians are the Tartarians.
Yeah.
Is
Venetians,
that
Venetians.
electric blue color? It'll be the color of fucking electricity.
Yeah. And that we have the blue eyes,
Yeah.
the blue
All that
glowing
kind of
eyes.
stuff.
See, a lot of people blue, in the Krishna consciousness thing, Krishna,
The blue
Arjuna,
people,
they're all blue beings.
Yep.
And it's not only them,
Buddha,
that
yeah,
culture's
yeah,
got blue
Avatar.
beings either, Chinese has. And that makes perfect sense. I got like
They all
that
do.
color light on you got behind you, right,
Yeah.
Kate? Okay. I've got the same
JC.
colour
Yeah,
light
you
on
can
you.
always see it on
I've
you
got the
now, Jason.
purple thing.
Yeah.
going on, and you got the purple thing going on.
I do.
Or ultraviolet.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
feeling
gosh.
good today. This is
I'm
good
good
thing.
today. I'm probably going to be energized the whole day now anyway after this.
Yeah, good.
All right.
I love
Have you
it.
seen that the is it called the transit, like the pattern of Venus, like the movement over the flat Earth, Martin? Have you seen
Well,
that?
I'll tell you
The
something
shape
that I
it
observed.
makes?
Whoa, beautiful.
Up there
So
it
I'm going
is.
to tell you
yeah.
my theory. I'm going to tell you my theory about that.
Well, I actually seen Venus move with my bare eyes for the first time only a week ago.
Yes.
I literally,
I
I
did too.
it's like a television mast near me, and I seen it move to the top, and I thought I'll watch it till it's perfectly in line, and I literally seen it pass. I was like, "Whoa!" I literally watched it move.
That's
the orbit. That's the orbit over 8 years of Venus. Now, here's my theory.
Like, remember
everything's
for Venus come out of the water in the Phoenician narrative as well. I remember Venus's role in Emanuel Velasovsky as well.
Aphrodite had an affair with Adonis.
At the
Adonis
water hole.
came from Phoenicia.
Yeah, they all are.
From river. In Arabic, it's translated as the dog river. Okay, that's where she fell in love with him and whatever, and made love to him, and then he got gored by a bull, and he fell into the river. This is Adonis. This is Aphrodite fell, and she wept over him. Yeah, so that's the Venus, the orbit of that Stargate. I call it
on the flat Earth. You were saying, Campbell, that's on the flat Earth.
On the flat Earth, yeah.
It can't be anything else.
Yeah.
But look at this. Look at this, right? All right, so invert that. All right, and what you got is the rows of the Rosicrucians, the 5-petaled rose. They invert everything. The Rosicrucians are associated with.
Funny you should mention that. Talking about it last night, the Rosicrucians. I think that they might be. I think they might have been like pivotal in this covering up. I was working on like Adam Weishaupt, and then when he started Illuminati, and I thought, well, hang on a minute. So hang on, they were really up and running before then, and the Rosicrucians had been around a long time before. Then there's an arm of it called the Martinists, by the way. Rosicrucianism. And the Jesuit, with the Vatican, I thought it had to be the Rosicrucianists that done a lot of this, had to be.
Yeah, they have. And then linked to, I know some SRA victims that their families were in the Rosicrucians. So they are linked to satanic ritual abuse. Yeah, so they are definitely part of it. But you think about this, okay, so if this will be a 5-pointed star, right? If we made that into a star.
The star force.
Right? When you turn it upside down, it becomes the star, the pentagram that is Luciferian. And so they've taken
it's not if it's sacred geometry.
They've taken the portal of love and inverted it because this reality is an inversion. And
because they do it in the reverse.
They do everything in the reverse. So that's basically what they've done. So the opposite of Venus, the opposite of love, everything is inverted, and they've taken that and corrupted it for itself. And it's a very simple thing, but that all fits in with that. And Star Force, my God.
Yeah, hello.
Star Force.
It's got to be
frequency point.
Well, come on, we so rarely hear about Venus. Come on, what do you know, Martin? What do you know about Venus?
I'm a flat earther. I deny.
Yeah, but Venus is a multi-dimensional portal as another realm.
Yeah, I really do think, and it's not the same as it was. It's a lot brighter. I've been following it for a couple of years. It even looks like it's artificial at times. It moves too quick. It used to be the morning star, which is also Lucifer, which is also Venus. And it was always low when I used to wake up when I was a kid. And now it's quite high. It moves like stink, and it's really, really prominent. It used to be not that prominent. Except you could only see it in the early morning when I was in school, guys. Venus, you could never see it outside of that. It was just really strange. So it's no longer the morning star. So it's doing one, but the whole sky's been off for a long, long time, guys. We are not. That's not the same sky I grew up with.
No.
Okay. I used to automatically just look up a certain time of the year and know where the plough was or know where Orion was, like that. And now when I do the same exercise, at the same time of year, it's like, right, okay. I gotta change my reorientate myself. It's not where it used to be. Well, I know that's a fact because I know how I work. So the sky's off. The sun's not the same. The moon. Don't even talk to me about the moon. Harvest moons, blood moons, all of these different moons. Never before in my life have any of these things happened.
When did anyone ever talk about it?
It's just look at many things that never happened before. All this insanity. Yeah, but Biden's gone for Jesus by all accounts. I knew he would, but considering Biden gave the game away, I know we're in a simulation now. This Biden in this,
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You know it.
Can I tell you something that happened to me on an astral yesterday?
Yeah.
About flat Earth and.
Can I tell you my dream then?
Yeah. All right, dream share, go.
Okay, shall I tell you about the flat Earth
I'll
thing
be back
first?
in a minute.
Yeah. All right. So when I was experiencing this healing, no, it was last week. Okay, so I was experiencing this healing. I got shown and explained that I saw this dimension, and it was a simulation. I saw it from a higher dimension, as though we were in a ship observing the simulation. We were in these pods experiencing the simulation. But then I saw, I was shown that every reality we created was like this cluster of, it was almost like a misty cluster of a world, like in a computer game.
Different
you know how,
like, realities in bubbles.
Yeah. Yes, but they were like bubbles, but they're all flat planes, kind of.
Yeah, of course.
Like
the different realms of it. They call them the realms, the planes of existence.
They were, yes, but you know how we imagine it like a rainbow, like planes. It wasn't like that. It was like clusters, like clouds in the sky. Like you'd go to one
the astral
cloud.
realm's just like that anyway. I see the astral realm as like, like a soup, like an ocean, and we're just floating around. I think we're like jellyfish in it, And
then depending on your frequency, you resonated with one particular reality. So you were swapping over all the time to different sort of frequencies, these clusters of frequency that resonated with you, right? And so in one frequency, everyone was observing the world as a globe. And then in the other frequency, people were observing it as flat. And then it was like that just depended on where they were at in their frequency. And then the ships that I saw that we were on were not ships. They were explaining it. It was just clusters of consciousness that came together to do sort of like brainstorm and work out what they were going to do. It was like brainstorming, and then they'd allocate what everyone was going to do in this little cluster. But it's a ship. It was like almost like a just an energy frequency bubble.
Do you reckon you could remember a moment when everything changed?
Do you mean here on Earth?
Well, I try to remember a moment like when everything changed. Sometimes I associate it with a certain switch on, but I definitely do remember a time or an occasion when I thought to myself, I've just broken off from this realm. They're all in a different one, and I'm in a completely different one experience.
Yeah, I've had.
It was in 2008 that happened to me.
Because some people say that was around 2012, but I know there's some significant things happened around 2008. Maybe I heard you speak before, Martin. You had the same thing.
No, I've heard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You had 2008, didn't you, as well? Yeah. You had something very significant happen around that time. Yeah, something shifted and put us on a different trajectory.
I think completely remember it, that time.
But what's been happening now is it's shifting so quickly, like
daily,
constantly, and that's why it's really hard to predict times. Yeah, go.
So I go to this like construct. If I think about this place, this town, which is a seaside resort town in Britain that I've never been to, but I know everywhere. I mean, so if I envision the streets and the people, I can go asleep and I'll go straight back there. Okay. And so I'm me there and I know everybody. Okay. And it's real. It's not like stupid dreams where everything melds and says, this is like a solid, proper dream, where I'm walking around and meet, So in the dream, I went to that place again last night through choice again, straight back there. And I was seeking somebody. Okay. In this dream.
He's on a quest. Yes.
So I thought to myself in the dream, I wonder if I could identify this town on Google and see if it actually exists. So in my dream, I'm looking on Google for a British seaside town which has a giant car plant, because I know there's a giant car plant there, right? In my dream. And I'm finding it in my dream. I'm thinking, fuck me, it exists. Yeah. So I was wondering if I'd done that now, today, and exist, then that would be like a dream within a dream within a dream, and that would be real.
Well, that is reality, isn't it, for us right now?
I had so many weird dreams in the last couple of weeks, guys. I seen a dead relative who was like giving me like shit hot information, telling me about the game, and I was going to be panning out, trying to tip me off for the next scene change, which is honest.
Yeah, go on, cough up. What did we discover? What's happening, Martin?
Yeah,
people got to be
what's gonna
prepared.
happen?
This is how consciousness works. You know, I can't just splurt out for people who are not emotionally or physically or in any way, shape, or form ready to
Come
hear
on,
that
we
sort
want
of
spoilers.
information.
We are, though.
spoilers.
Come on. Let's
No, I
go.
can't. No, I can't.
No,
I got to be
not gonna do it.
responsible. Sorry. No.
Someone in the
I don't
chat
want to fuck
said
people's heads up.
Martin avoided an inception.
All in good time. I've been trying to work on the
Fair
content for my next book in the last couple of days. I've been writing it all down, like where I'm going to be going with all of
I
this.
can't wait to hear it.
Without
What's your
trying to
next
get
book
myself
about?
killed or anything.
Book 3.
If they wanted to kill me, I'd probably be dead by now. So
Yeah.
they want me to
No.
carry on entertaining them with funny stuff and truth bombs. They would see.
It's kind of a
Yeah.
good service that they keep
And I think we're all
poo-pooing the flat Earth, because then they just deem us as crazy and they don't really try to
Exactly.
put a hit on you.
Yeah,
So they
and
just
you know
say, "Oh, you're
what?
just
I didn't
crazy."
even. I was frolicking around thinking, best thing ever, life crack. We're in the Tartarian realm, no censorship whatsoever. And then I just connected the Tartarian realm with the indigenous word, and then I was
Kaboom.
struck down
Boom.
by the satanic AI
I
hardcore.
know.
Yeah, man, you know
I
when
got-
you touch upon something they don't want you to talk about.
No.
Oh no.
It was harsh, Martin. We raised 20
I don't know
grand and
how
they
I
just
got
fucking
away
go,
with that.
go fund me, go fund Satan, just took it all down in 1 second. And then
believe that.
YouTube and Facebook, bang, bang, bang. It's bullshit.
Shows you
I
that.
don't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
Kel
even
lost
know if I got a
everything in
refund, Kelly.
an hour.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I
God,
got a
I hope you
refund after
did.
they took
That's
it down.
nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You,
Well, it's
you
okay. I
better have,
donated again.
Jesus.
That's
I
nice.
donated again. Well, I
Hey.
donated again, and then someone started bad mouthing me on Twitter. All these people started bad mouthing on Twitter. How did she donate that? I think she's an insider. She's part of it. I was like, what?
Really? Oh
do a good,
God.
yeah, do a good deed, and then now I'm
Really?
an
There's
insider.
a conversation on Twitter about you donating to our
About-
YouTube fund. Oh
Don't
my
even
God.
look at it. Don't even take no notice. I don't.
Yeah, they
Anything
said I
bad
was
to
part
you,
of the.
alive,
I was
don't
part of
they?
the genocide. I was part of the genocide. That's why I donated the money.
Crazy.
Apparently.
Well, I mean, you know, look,
that's
here we
why
are
you're
doing,
donating to help them. Yeah, yeah.
you
Still
know,
sorry for them. Oh no, fuck them.
it's 9 p.m. on the
Kel.
Australian 21st of the 12th, 2021. I think we're going to like have a bit of a conversation now. What is going to happen, guys, in the next couple of weeks here in Australia? And like, who's got some thoughts to add to the party here? Because Australia is going through an epic process. Obviously, Martin, you've been watching Australia from the other side of the world, and all the friggin' bullshit that's been happening here, and all the magic that's waking up, and all of our indigenous are on this big, you know, the movie The Dark Crystal, and
Yeah,
there's
man.
the Skeggsy, the real
Skeleton.
bad dudes, and then there's the
man.
really good slow guys.
I'm a gelfling. Look,
Yeah, you are a gelfling. You look
I know.
exactly like a gelfling. Oh my god,
Gelfling.
he's
Gelfling.
outed. You do. But who are the old wise guys? Who are the really old, slow, wise guys that slowly move
Yeah.
towards?
Oh yeah.
That's what
the-
our indigenous are doing right
Yeah, the
now.
big
They're all
dresses, yeah.
slowly moving towards.
Our ancestors are screaming out to us and they're helping us as well because they're here right now
Yeah.
as well. So it's definitely a reach out from the ancestors. I already said this a couple
Oh,
of weeks
yeah.
ago. Definitely
100%.
feel it as well. I feel
Yeah.
it as well.
Yeah.
All of history waking up at the
Mm.
same time, not just
Yes.
our timeline, all of the timelines,
Yes.
all at the
Yes.
same instant, simultaneously. So there's just like nothing bigger. It's like we're not just waiting in this realm, man. It's just everyone is doing it in their realms at the same time right now.
Absolutely. And I want to point out that everybody needs to be in charge of healing their trauma. And because once you heal your trauma here, you're healing your ancestral trauma. And because time doesn't exist, we're healing it all at once so that everything can converge and lift up into another frequency. And I think that will shift everything because it's all, you know, it's all existing all in us all at once. And DNA holds all of
Well,
our past
trauma's
lives and everything, traumas, everything.
trauma's past attached, isn't it? You know, again,
Yes.
and the past isn't there, is it?
No,
Because
Yeah.
it's just
you've already
figments
gone
in your
through
mind.
it.
So you can't dwell on it.
That's
It makes us
simple
who we
belief.
are, you know. I can't even make the shit up that's happened to me in this life. Yeah. So I'm just like thinking to myself, I can just be like this shredded out victim and moaning about how hard I've had it in this fucking place, or just
Oh,
not give a
man.
fuck, learn by it, thank
Mm.
the past for putting, you know, making me strong like this, you know,
Yeah.
and fearless, and
Yeah.
You know, so it's all meant to be, I think.
Become awesome.
It molds you,
Absolutely.
makes you who you are. So it's all
We're
part
the
of it.
we're the sum of our past.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
maybe-
that's it. Yeah.
Maybe that trauma actually, from the Tartarian lens, should be called that polarization. That's sort of what we're trying to heal, isn't it? Like our polarized natures, our
We could do it.
extremities, and bring it into the
It's been
unconditional
hard.
surrender.
You
All of
guys,
the circle.
Right.
the community helped me heal because
Yeah.
I guess I used the community to go through like grieving and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was either sit on my own, you know, crying for a year, or crank it up on YouTube, overlook myself and my selfish ego fucking issues, like poor me, and give something.
It's all about healing the
I thought
ego.
myself, I'll do something super fantastic with my life instead. Is what I thought.
And you've done so well. I know. Look at me. I'm like fangirl here, going, Martin.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I seen you in chat earlier, right, Kay? And I didn't know you, but I'm happy I do now.
On behalf, look, I have to say, Martin, on behalf,
fangirls tonight, Martin.
yeah, on behalf of Australia and everyone that is in this group, man, honestly, I've been waiting a long time to honor you because you were the beginning of most of our journeys through this realm. It was you that brought your beautiful mind, brought our consciousness around this topic. So to you, Martin, Australia fucking honors you. Tartaria's woken up here, and you started that, my friend. You started that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Martin.
I'm so grateful I was able to. So lucky me.
Man, magic has woken up here in Australia. I'm telling you, magic has woken up here in fucking Australia. And and it's like all coming in around the Tartarian consciousness.
I can feel it. I can feel it. I feel that Australia's having it bad, and that's why it's having it bad, because you guys are awakening so quick, man.
No, they're trying. We've got to awaken these crystal cities underneath the earth.
Yeah, man, we're on a quest.
Crystal cities. Oh, funny you should mention that. Let me just see if I can find something for you.
We're still going. Crystal Cities.
Go.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I've got.
So Crystal
did look into
Cities
Crystal
is
Cities.
what is it?
There are a
June
lot.
next year? July next year.
Oh. There's a famous crystal city
fucking
made
quiet.
by an engraver called Joseph Zeller. I think I
Yeah,
got
put
it. Yeah.
some pictures up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Campbell and I are heading towards the Australian desert in winter in 2022. We're going to have the first Tartarian conference in the desert here in Australia.
Oh,
We're going to
wow.
be beaming you
Desert.
fucking in, man. Like, we're going to do it live
You're coming.
in our desert. Yeah. So
I wanna be there.
if you can travel, we're getting you here, man. That's
Yeah.
Well, I
thing
travel.
that's
I
You
go
can get
to.
here, if not you.
Well, I got all this stuff supposed to happen if I didn't get jabbed or what have you. I can't travel, can I? Because
I know. No.
Man, I can't even go into a freaking shop.
But
Australia, Melbourne's terrible.
Yeah.
I really think
It's
that
going to open up end of March.
I think next year it's going to be much, much, much different. It's going to be freedom, like back to the 60s, you know, where you can just sort of walk onto a plane and, you know, none of this crap, not going through bloody detectors and shit. That will be gone. It'll just be freedom. So, and it'll be cheap, I think, as well.
Oh my
mean,
God.
you know,
And Campbell, they'll be so
how
scared of
expensive
us.
is air
We won't
travel?
have
It's
to-
just ridiculous.
I know. Yep. Imagine when Australia is free again and we all walk around without the black goo in us, unvaccinated. Like they're going to be fucking freaking. Like anything could happen from our perspective every day now. Anything could happen from our energy fields. Any single day now, electricity is going to be firing and wiring more and more and more. They're of course they're scared. Hello, they've got an earth full of fucking Wonder Womans down here. Like they don't even know what to do with it.
I know they're in so much trouble, aren't they?
They're in so much fucking trouble.
We're activating.
They are.
Activating.
They are prairie dog in it right now. They're like,
we can activate the grid.
Activating the grid. You were saying, Kelly, that you reckon that the monoliths all over the place were like, what was it again? You said that they were activated.
Yeah, they have some role in the convergence. So when we do actually activate this when we charge up and activate this grid and it affects the sun, something about the monoliths hold or facilitate the energy. And I think it would be to facilitate this massive blast of energy throughout all of the realms. I think it connects it somehow to the rest of
to
all the
draw it
conscious, so
down,
everyone
maybe.
benefits.
Yes.
From our
I
massive,
think-
amazing, well done job. Hello, we fucking charged up the Earth grid. Hello, it's gonna like send out and be harnessed somehow to everything else. I think
it's going to deactivate the matrix grid that's already crumbling.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Deactivate that
Yeah.
in order for us to awaken and ascend. And it's not necessarily going up into the sky like a rapture. But I think that that's what they're trying to keep that stronghold on, you know, and as well as that solar event that you're talking about. That sort of activates something in order for us to quickly awaken. There was also this thing that I saw in Uluru last year. Do you remember when I did that video and it went viral? It was Stephen and Evan Strong who shared my video. That was the first. They were the ones who shared it, and it went viral. And about Uluru, and I didn't know anything about that, the black box. Prophecy, etc. But something I told him on the phone privately, and I said that what would happen, there would be a binaural beat that rings out, which is 2 tones, and he said yes, and I said, and that would awaken. It was like it awakens the people that are asleep, and then they sort of like that's how the ascension process happens. And he said that's the prophecy. He said we don't talk about this, but he said that's part of the prophecy. And you're right, and it was 144,000, and he said that was the right amount of number. But that was all the stuff I saw in the astral journey underneath Uluru when I saw that crystal. So there's something in this that we already know all of this stuff, and we're just remembering all of this, and that's why everybody's getting these things that are all fitting in with each other. But I think that there's something to this binaural beats that are occurring, like 2 frequencies, and then it shifts and. You know, that's what they say, that's when the Earth splits, that when there's 2 frequencies and it splits.
Makes perfect sense.
2 different frequencies. And maybe that's maybe one Earth will have the free energy again, and then the other will
it has to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know because
what you believe you're going to be.
And also, like, we know that in previous times in resets, Martin, I've seen heaps of your work talk about this, where, like, sounds boomed down onto the plane. Like, you know, these booming sounds.
We juggled with the technasmia of Antiquitech, like, you know, fry this place, you know, because, you know, a circuit board, like, melts down, and a circuit board resets, and a circuit board, all of it, basically. So I got to wonder about that. I can't remember what I was talking about.
Well, I remember watching an episode of yours, and you were talking about basically it was the artwork, but also this like these massive trumpet sounds that went across the whole realm, and like it was like excruciating noise that everyone heard.
Making your ears bleed, sort of thing. You know, this splitting off these 2 acoustics you just talked about. Okay, I don't think they actually have to be audible. But if you do hear them, like that high-pitched sound or a hum at night, you can't unhear it. You hear it all night, then it does your head in. But so there is a you know, something there you can hear. You know, I mean, like I get up some nights and look around, thinking, what is it that's doing that? I go to the window and it's like, all right, it's out there, and it's just everywhere. You know, it's So yeah, it could be something like that. They could try, you know, we know about the new technologies that are being installed, electromagnetic technologies.
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, I don't think they're what they say, that we can just all be fried because the birds seem to flock on them. Yeah. So, but they could definitely switch or tweak the frequency of this place with them. I feel. And with these devices, the churches with all their rose windows and all their somatic patterns and the music change and taking out the keynote, the devil tone, 1700s. Prior to that point, you know, this place was scintillating. Change the keynote, everyone's doing too fine, you know. It's like now with this stuff, it's like, oh my God, she's healthy. She's healthy. She doesn't take the vaccine. She must be a witch. You know, that's what they like. It's just like being healthy is the new worst thing. It's the new bad thing. I notice everyone out there looks like mighty in a mess. Yeah,
They
mass,
all
can't
have this
breathe.
white. Don't they
They
have
don't
bluish
walk.
white
They
skin
shuffle.
around them?
They shuffle along like them elders in the Dark Crystal. They're
Can't
like
breathe.
them, grown in a bad version.
Yeah, they shuffle.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like, what happened, guys? What happened?
Well, definitely a sound, a sound something, a sound. That's what I think happened in Australia. I don't think it was a nuclear bomb. I think it was a sound thing, and it really like does so much more. It just is totally destructive, 100%
You can
down
discombobulate
to
matter.
sand.
Yeah, you can boil
exactly.
water with
Yeah.
sound. You can discombobulate matter, but basically disaggregate matter.
Yeah.
And turn it to dust. If you find it's basically you can like literally cancel this with wave cancellation, right?
No,
Just
insane.
dephase it. But if you find the frequency of a certain object and you hit it with that same frequency, same basis as how a speaker works. The box is the same frequency as the speaker, and it will augment it. So it's the same thought as that. And if you find that frequency, it will discombobulate or just turn it to dust. Basically, it's like
That's
Fash's
fucking
type
scary.
technologies. It's scary, but not really.
Singing
If you just,
yeah.
that's a fear thing, isn't it? There's another side to Antiquitech. I put in my first book. There's a good side and a bad side. You know, the good side is the healing properties, isn't it? 432. You know, emanating through, and all of the animals being bigger and happy and healthier, and we're interacting with the animals. You know, fucking munching on them and stuff. You know, just. Awesome bunny rabbits everywhere, you know.
Because in Tartaria, they didn't eat. They were nurtured off the ether. There was no kitchens and toilets. So
well, we could save the world with that ethos. If we could learn everyone breatharianism, there would be no starvation in Africa or India because everyone could exist on breath.
That's a good point.
Well, you know, Saint Germain apparently was a breatharian. You know, the alchemist, the famous alchemist.
So?
He was a breatharian. Yeah, his relative was on Crow 777 a couple of months ago, and he was saying that he was
I had him on my show, Crow, years ago.
Yeah. Oh wow, great. Yeah. Well, he had Fortune Germain, who was his great grand nephew on, and he said his great grand uncle Saint Germain was actually a breatharian, and that he would. He'd mastered this thing, and he just was, you know, didn't have to eat and he didn't have to sleep as much as we do, and that whole, I mean,
it's
around
killing
the time,
us. The food is killing us. All of it.
It's
the water's killing us. It's like most people die of dehydration. They all are like a shriveled up tea bag by the time they die. So that's obviously dehydration. So they're taking the water out of the water, basically. The shit that we get. We get this magnetized triple vortex water. Yeah, well, you know, and if like with crystals in it, I think we'd be cooking on gas with that. No, go on.
I mean, you go down to the supermarket, literally 99% of the food is poisoned. You know, if not 100%. It's just that's my job, Martin. I deal with food and nutrition.
Excellent.
You know more than any doctor. Agriculture, huh?
You know more than any doctor. They don't even know about
absolutely
nutrition.
For sure. Like and the fact that we live in such a poisonous realm, like, I mean, I'm just talking food, talk about building materials, fabrics, fibers, everything your house is made out of.
Keep your vibration down so we don't wake up. All them dense, nasty materials.
Being weaponized, everything's been weaponized.
My idea, you know, I think that we're batteries, so we're giving off all this energy and electricity. You know, we peak at about, you know, up to 2,000 volts during the peak of our day around maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Go home, right, to a house that's got like biodirectional plugs in the wall, and you all know about dirty electric, don't you? Yeah. So they could like basically see pure energy, not the other way around. So you get home, you sit down, and you're flat. Your battery's flat. You can't even get out of the chair to go to the kitchen to make a cup of tea. Because you're that. So your battery is flat. If you didn't do that, stay, you know, ground as well to keep your, you know, soul connection, Gaia, and then basically just not do any of it. There's no reason why you shouldn't live forever or for a mighty long time. Yeah. And this switching off thing as well we do at night, this sleep. The illusion doesn't even give up when we close our eyes.
Still dreaming.
We're such legends. I'm sorry, we are legends. The Tartarian hunting human beings are fucking legends, man. The shit we deal with down here in this realm to help get this sorted out.
Hey,
My
I
God.
know. I deal with all sorts. Trolls. I had all trolls in yesterday. They came in a bit. They usually do. I don't care.
I have.
I'm going to rape and kill your mother,
the
man.
trolls are
It's
popping
like,
their heads
Oh
everywhere.
God, Martin.
it's all right. She's 6 foot under. Where they're going to be.
I've got this one that's unrelenting. He comes into my chat and then he has another same name, another account. He just keeps coming in. I keep banning him. He just keeps coming in. Yeah.
Super duper fans can be annoying too because they can sort of soak up your consciousness. Like we've just every time you're like there. I can get on your nerves.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to talk to you. I need to get on. I got to get on. I got a lot to do.
Do you get like talked out? It's like you spend all day talking, and the last thing you want to do is talk. You know, it's like
I said in my
I've just been talking
Facebook,
to a
like
screen
this
for 6 hours.
You know, I can't talk on
no more
Facebook
words.
groups. I won't get any work done. Can't
Yeah.
run a movement by talking all
Yeah,
day
well, you can't.
about whatever.
No, can't.
And I'm not like much for small talk and talking about mundane stuff. I would do fantastic stuff like this. That mundane stuff sucks.
You can't bring it up in the message.
So we didn't answer the question of what's going to happen today.
Yeah. All right, let's come on. Let's focus, team. Let's give them the Solstice summary here on Tartaria Australia. So yeah, I mean, we're here at this very significant day. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of people focusing in on it. So last year there was like heaps of energy and focus at this moment in time on Australia, and it's sort of, you'd agree, JC, hey, it's sort of like nothing much happened, you know?
No. Well, something did happen, and it was an energy harvest. That's what I saw, and I stayed well away from that, and I did some astral work, but yeah, it was definitely an energy harvest. Zal's in the chat. I can see, and Zal was there. He's my friend, Zal Moxes, and he was there at Uluru. And you're there.
Yeah, Zal's my brother for years, man. Love Zal.
Yeah, I love Zal. He's awesome. Yeah. I was going to go up to somewhere with him, Gospel Glyphs on the weekend, but we didn't get to go. But there's so he said we moved into second gear. All right. So that was at Uluru. But yeah, I think last year, there was this big movement, and it was kind of overtaken by the New Age people, and there's this whole ascension thing. And I think the prophecy was good in one sense, but I think what's been happening, here we go with the timelines again. Every single prediction I've made in the in last year, it's almost like add 12 months. There was this weird shift of everything, as though everything got extended by 12 months. So the dates that I saw, say 22nd of March, say 6th of January or whatever, add 12 months. So instead of 2021, it's actually happening next year. And everything seems to be fitting in, and I did see that. And so I think that this 21st of December, according to this original lady that contacted me that said her ancestors crushed the quartz crystals, she wrote me an email and saying, call me, today is very significant. The 21st of December is very significant this year. And I know that Stephen and Evan Strong are doing something now. They're doing a ceremony now. Is that what they're doing? At Uluru, or part of that. And so I think it's happening in waves. It doesn't happen like a shift like that, right? It doesn't
come through in waves.
It comes through in waves.
Waves, sine waves.
If we're going to the universal consciousness, we are feeling stuff all the time, right? So, like for instance, you and I woke up today and we went, something feels different. It feels more positive. I feel like we've turned a corner. So it's very subtle. I don't think it's a significant sudden event today. I don't, or whenever, but I think there's stages of this. But I definitely feel end of March, just this, end of March is definitely an opening of gates. It feels like this.
Something good's for showing itself. But I have been asking for, I don't like to keep on a petition the reality of the universe to tell me something, because I'm cracking up. Tell me something, because it's doing my head in, So I tend to do that, but then I go into my dreams and then it comes to me there, rather than willing some sort of divine apparition, if you like, to let me know what the fuck is going on? Yeah. I don't think I'm ready.
It's definitely. I just was just having a glance at the chat there, and someone mentioned that it's take away 1,000 years from this timeline. So that's So we're in 1,021. Yeah.
Yes. Take away the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Thou shared Stephen and Evan's meditation link.
Didn't exist.
What do you reckon, Campbell? I'm gonna give you what is going on over there, brother? I've hardly heard from you. You're lagging behind me.
I know, right?
What's going on?
Speak up.
I've opened my mouth to speak. It's hard getting a word in. Yeah, good stuff. It's like waves, or you can think of like a duck taking off from a pond, right? And they get a bit of air and then they crash back down to the water, get a bit more air, and then finally they're flying, right? And that's what we're doing. We're getting more, each time this happens, we're getting more and more power, and things are building. And ultimately, what we need is to just hit that point where we've got more Tartarian love energy going than the other, and that's when it should all flip. And I think we're getting pretty close. You can feel it, right? You can just feel the energy rising, and everyone's been saying for 2 years, when's it going to happen? What's going to happen? But it's never really felt, like something would happen. It was always more like, oh God, can we just get rid of this crap? When will it be over? But now it feels more like, it's coming. It's coming. On. We're there. So it's all good. Yeah, it's on, baby. Like we've done it, right? We've put out good energy and created a new world. And
it needs a table full, just like us, to make it work. That's
Crystal cities. We've got to talk. Martin, what do you know about the crystal cities?
Well,
did we see your picture?
There's a few in antiquity, and there's crystal cities mentioned in like Bhagavad Gita and stuff, but they are holographic cities.
Yes.
Yeah, like and also holography armies in holographic armies. So there have been cities that have been seen floating. There was one in China back about 4 years ago.
I saw that. Yep.
It also showed up in Ramsgate in England, the same cloud with a city on top.
Really?
Wow. Look, do you know that film Sky Captain of Tomorrow? Yeah.
No.
It's with Jude Law. It's like a futuristic film, but it's set. They're all in 1940s clothes, but it's all like steampunky tech.
It's
World of Tomorrow.
Yeah. I'd like to.
And I think they give you clues in that film. There's a lot of clues in that film, actually. Yeah, it's full of Tartarian stuff.
You got some pictures for us? You were having a hunt there.
I'm going to just show you this. Now, this is by Jacob Zeller, who's a famous German engraver. And he showed Jerusalem as a crystal floating city. Like so. And it's beautiful, this one. There's all sorts of clues in it. It's Phoenician, got the lion.
Well, the
Vajra. Vajra, almost as if these are creating like torus charges to make the whole thing levitate. You got Michnacht, which is midnight. Charged towers.
Look at that.
And check that there in the center.
Oh.
I don't know really. He's in mud, and he looks like some sort of demonic character. Over the other side here, you have
Mittag, midday.
Exactly. So there's timeage on there as well, which goes with our fake time construct.
Is Dutch?
Jacob Zeller. I thought he was German.
Because I know Mittag. Mittag is Dutch.
Isn't it not in German?
Could be very similar.
But it's because it's got Schloss here. Schloss. Isn't that German?
Schloss.
And then you got Baal here, so that's the Tower of Babel. This thing here is the Tower of Babel. Yeah.
I think the Tower of Babel was
so
long ago.
It's got a gun.
Oh.
What the? I don't think it's supposed to have that at that period of, what's supposed to be what Bronze Age. Jacob Zeller's 1600s, but like it's just what is he thinking? Because there's a big thing about Jerusalem, it's like they wanted in the English Civil War, we want Jerusalem, and we want it now. So it's a state of mind, like the Tartarian consciousness is this Jerusalem. It's not just a city.
No, it is,
It's a mindset, a state of mind.
Yeah.
And they try to
Yes.
bring it in. It's all like puritanism and strangeness, and it's just them, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Amazing.
You know what that means? Gang.
Gone.
EVF gang. The size of the buildings, though. Skyscrapers, like American skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Huh?
These illustrations blow my mind, man.
This one's a real special one. It's got the water features, so that's the hanging
Look
garden.
at that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Wow, yes.
You know, all floating. But it's weird, it's all
Amazing.
like mud, they're solidified as well, like, you know, when you got these giant things.
Well, what about the theory that, because, you know, when you've got the firmament, you've got flat Earth, and then you usually have waters underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I saw that in an astral journey where I went into a lake in a portal, and then I went into an underground thing, and then I went further down and there was more water. And then when I was talking to this spirit elder, when he was telling me about the crystal cities underground, it was like they were in the level where the water was, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
So
think of the word
sense,
permanent, right? So it's firm and meant mind.
Mind.
So it's saying you've got to have a firm mind to be able to perceive these aspects of reality.
Yeah.
You know, I really am into the, you know, in my mind, I don't think we can ever know the dimensions of this place.
No.
Okay. We're not going to be able to get out there in the real world and
There's
measure it
all
anyway.
possibilities.
So it's impossible. So, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever to the outcome of history, because basically it's our history now, guys. This will be talked about in many years to come. They will be looking back at this awakening, what happens in humanity. Just such a special thing, guys. We appreciate that.
That's amazing.
It's craziness. We're doing it. And that's the end of it. Jacob Zeller, yeah.
Amazing.
I can actually share that so people
Yes, that's amazing.
They want to.
I was always my first enchanted memory as a kid was always there was one Monty Python. It wasn't Monty Python, but it was like there was a floating city on what was it? It was not Baron Munchausen, something like this.
Baron Munchausen
was it Baron Munchausen?
Yeah.
And there was a floating city. There was like a no, it was on a boat. It was on a boat. A city on a boat.
I know about the islands of Dr. Moreau when you got all them creatures and stuff.
I mean, is this like anything to do with the city floating? Like, is enchanting to us?
Oh yeah, well, they got floating cities on that film. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. And I was captivated by it. It was like one of my first kid memories, like watching that. And I was like, there's an enchanting element there for us. Like, we all look at these images and think, fucking hell, man. Like, they are so insane. Like, how do they even fit into anything that this reality offers whatsoever? How on earth did they?
What are they thinking?
I know. What are they thinking? Man.
What's the frame of reference? What world are they living in? Because it's certainly not anything like this.
No, I know.
They got pure inspiration, creativity, the artworks, the literature, everything that comes out of the antique world is flabbergasting to me.
It's flabbergasting. You're so right. It blows my mind. It blows
Nothing out of this now does anything. Don't go and see the new Matrix film, by the way. It's 25 times of shit. So I've been.
Oh no.
Yeah, man. It's all like CGI. Like you can see it's CGI as well. It's nasty ass. And he's like old and don't know who he is.
Looking a bit weird.
Was I the one?
No.
You don't even know him. Yeah. Like, do I know you? It's like it's not working.
Well, surely by now, very soon they'll start putting out like movies we actually want to watch again. They're going to start putting out the movie of Nat. They're going to start putting out our movies.
They give us clues. They give us clues. They're trying to grab the narrative because everything that we talk about, there will be a subtle release by the British Museum or something only a week later. I've talked about subjects or a site, for example, and then a week later it'll be, new artifacts found, and then they will try and grab the narrative because they've seen 10,000 people or whatever have seen it over years, so they got no choice. I have forced the narrative. And I've seen this for years with these, and they're way behind. Academia's way behind us because they're stuck in a box. They're not allowed to talk about anything outside of their timelines.
No way.
That's the medieval period, and that's Roman, you know, and that's it. You know, everything's attributed to these time periods. There's nothing else ever happened. You know,
and they're crappy.
But in reality, we know nothing of the 1700s when it was that close. And not only that, the Edwardian period, which is only 100 years ago, the First World War, or just over, right, guys? We little about these people. Little. Our great-grandparents, and we know nothing about them. Why is that? We should have an abundance of information. We should have, you know, so close to us. You know, these people
they just say, oh, it got disintegrated, all the letters.
Well, this is part of it, isn't it? Disintegration of passed down knowledge and with the indoctrination and the television is the worst thing of all. It's a complete fake paradigm people are believing in. Football matches, alcohol, like you said about the porn, everything, all of it. It's just mangling their brains. They're not even people when they're going down that road. They're just existing on a lower vibrational, animalistic state of shitting, eating, and that's, you know, just
and zero, you know,
and not living their lives. Not living a good, healthy, wholesome, invigorating life like we do. You know.
Cookie cutter life.
Oh man, look,
they're all basic bitches.
They are witches, and this is their day, isn't it? So the good witches will counteract their spells with missions of love and intent.
What were you saying, Kelly?
I was just gonna say, like, you know, I prize myself for my awesome imagination. I fucking love my imagination, and it's like one thing that I've still got 2 baby teeth in my head. You know, like it's totally there. But like, oh my god, if we look at this stuff that came out before the reset, we have nothing. Their imaginations of our past are so insanely developed.
No.
What are we? We're like nothing. We're like brown paper animals. We're in comparison, you know, like far out.
Blows my mind.
So what about what happened? The reset was after the Regency period, or when did everything go funny?
Around the Regency period,
Right.
Yeah, bang on. So some people surmise like mid 1800s, but I got like an 1855 book in the room, which talks about reform. This is the main word, you know, keyword of that time is reform. We were having a war in the Crimea at that time, 1855, and it looks like it's just the restructuring of a society is what it appears to be in this book after some sort of catastrophe. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say the first half of the 1800s, you know, from 1811, New Madrid events through to Tambora, 1816, there were just giant cataclysmic events. The whole realm was affected. They could have had a calendar switch off, rewrote history in Leiden University where they do that shit, rolled it out for a new brainwashed arrivals, get them into the expositions. This is the world showing the spoils of the previous civilization. These are the things we grabbed, all of their belongings. Come and have a look at the world we once lived in. This is the new world which we've just built, like they're doing now. And then it's a complete reset. Nobody knows anything of the previous history. There's little bits left that we picked up on about Tartaria, enough to know that this culture existed, and was the biggest.
Who is doing the reset? What's your theory?
Funny you should mention that. Us.
I know. But who is doing it? So us from the future.
Us. It's us. It's everything that is happening around now is us. Yes. We intend it. We want it. We know it's like, we're not being cruel here, but there's a fuck ton of people who are just fucking like making this place a mess, and they're never going to change. You know, I'm not like a judge here, guys, because I'm not. I'm just saying they're just like poison in what should be a beautiful, pure, pristine water well that we're instead of like big lumps of poo in it, which is happening. So yeah, but that's all right because they just done something very, very silly, and
Pooed in the magic well.
Sorry? Magic well. Listen, me and my sister, like, we went to this little enchanted woodlands when we was kids, right? And my memory of it was there was a little door in the tree, and I went down a spiral staircase inside the tree to a lower
Oh my God!
world.
Enchanted, far away, magical, enchanted tree.
I know. I was going to say
Enchanted garden. Yeah.
In Blyton.
Yeah.
Martin, you didn't eat their food, did you?
I've seen the
turn into
film
a
Labyrinth with the fawn and don't eat the grape, so I know this shit goes down. Yeah.
Don't eat the fairy food. Don't eat the fairy food.
As far as I remember, I was running a lot and just not stopping and just like scurrying around, didn't know where I was, want to get back up to my mother, is what I was thinking. And why did I come down here?
Wow.
My sister was there as well, and she has a similar memory. It's just like, and it was a really enchanted forest, little bit of woods. It was covered in these beautiful little blue flowers, and the whole thing was just like, had all like when you get them
bluebells, Martin, little bluebells from Tartaria for you.
Do you know the little fluff that comes off of dandelions? It was all that in the air as well, and the sun was shining through, and it was like the memory is just like, and I can literally see that tree in my mind's eye, and the staircase going down. So,
you got to find it again, that place. Where is it? What town?
South Wales.
South Wales. Wow.
Yeah.
My father's from Wales. I'm Welsh.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed that by the name, Jonesy.
No, my father's Welsh.
Tartarian.
And my mother's from Cornwall, St. Ives in Cornwall. What a mixture, hey?
Well,
Yeah.
that's got his own story, Cornwall, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know, man. What's the deal with Cornwall? I grew up near Land's End and Penzance and St. Michael's Mount. St. Michael's.
I talked about last night.
Oh my God.
Penzance.
So I'll be looking into these mystical ley lines. Now, a lot of the truthers and a couple of friends of mine are meeting at Avesbury to a major ley line crossover point in Britain today for the solstice. Okay. But I'll be following another ley line called the Archangel line, which goes through both Saint Michel's, the one in Cornwall, the one in France, and then it goes right the way through Rome. It ends in the Holy Land. Yeah, this straight line. They call them. So it's like it's another ley line, you know, and these buildings definitely on them. And like that Joseph Zeller picture, you know, the top of that looks exactly like the top of Mount Saint Michel. And I'm thinking, you know, this thing's just gone boom.
Yeah. You know, is. You're so right. You're so fucking right. Oh my God, absolutely.
So yeah, I've been looking into Arthurian legends, haven't I, lately? So I've mucked up with Ross, who's a bit of a super mind, isn't he? And I've been reading his books. The one where is Jesus buried, and it's just blowing my head off because all this seems to be very provable. And I'm like, wow, and it's all local to me. Yes, King Arthur is supposed to be born in Ely. Yeah, he's a homie. He's from where I'm from. And King Arthur was possibly one of the Jesuses. The thing is, Thomas, the book of Thomas, the one that tells you about the twin Jesuses, Thomas was brother of Joseph of Arimathea. So he's Jesus' uncle. Yeah,
uncle, yeah.
Well,
so Thomas in Arabic means twin.
Well, there you go. You see what I mean? Yeah, so he was Joseph's twin then, we'll say. And there's a big thing with twins in with these. There was in the Reich as well, didn't they? Mengele had a nutty one about twins and blue eyes and stuff. And also, these people that go missing in American parks, I read they were predominantly blonde people. I was like, I wonder if there's going on with something going on with the rhesus negatives. I have a sister, right? Yeah, she's blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah, Eva Braun. She is proper Aryan, right? She looks like one of them. Okay, she's rhesus negative. She's got what's called monkey bloods, blue bloods, exceptionally rare variety of it. I haven't. Right. Yeah, I got one of those bullshit ones they made up, the ABLC or whatever. I don't even care. Yeah, you don't need blood if anything happens to you. They stick plasma water in you and it will top you up. You don't need to be taking blood from anybody, siphoning it for gold is what they're doing. That's No, they are. And dead bodies as well. Do you know the amount of concentration in 40,000 people? They can get like 10 grams of gold. Ounces a gold for 40,000. So there's no reason why they're going to be cremating people and not taking the gold out of the ashes, is there? There's other processes as well. Yeah, that's why the greatest concentration of gold is in the human heart of gold.
Yes.
Yeah. This is we have biomechanical machines. There's no doubt in it. Just think of the weird shit we got to go through. Yeah, and I don't think this breatharianism we should go back to. Then I've got to start my day shitting. What is with that? That's the worst thing. That comes from hell. Yeah, go start your day every day. Oh, what a beautiful day. No, I got to interact with food. Does this sound holy?
Wow. Well, I'm starting a fast.
It's to keep us in fear, Martin. Right? You wake up every day and shit yourself.
Yeah, shit yourself. That's right. Every day. And JC, I got to tell you, man, I've done 40-day fast, and you're going to keep shitting for 3 weeks, just so you know.
Like, you want
yeah, you do.
Social distance, stop wiping. Okay.
Yeah, you did a 40-day fast. I think the longest I've lasted is 7 days, 7-day water fast, but I haven't done longer.
Well,
I'm going to do that at my tiny home on the weekend.
I tried, but I get really, really hungry.
Yeah.
I have to eat all the time. Otherwise,
eat the ether, why don't you? Come on,
you should
eat the ether, man.
I'm getting fat, I am.
Eat the ether. You need some
I've
organs.
got a fat belly for the first time in my life ever. I don't like it. I'm going back into training.
Yeah, hello. We're all getting fat. That's what's happening here. We're all sitting in front of
Kelly.
We're sitting inside.
It's a trade-off. It's a freaking trade-off. Because we ended up
it's healthy. Anyway, I've gained a stone in the last year, believe it or not.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, because you look like like you've got low body fat. No?
I have got low body. I've never had an ounce on me in my entire life. I weighed the same when I weighed the same at 18 as I did at 50.
Wow.
It's not really changed.
We've just got to align with our light body, our Venusian Amazonian light bodies, right?
It's your avatar. You can make it what you want. You can literally change your appearance on a daily basis. Just look in a mirror, say to yourself, bigger, better, and everything you want, and just that person will morph, because it's you.
I'm just going to go flat stomach now. Bang.
Yeah. Well,
do you want to be divine and sparkly?
Yeah, because our vehicles, man, I'm so ready to do a switch over with the vehicle. Like, there is so much more cool shit I want to add to the vehicle. Like, we've been driving these old Ford Falcons around for a long time now, guys.
No shit.
It's time to supercharge these fucking machines we're in.
I know. I'm a battered old Buick, I am.
Great.
I still got a few miles left to do, though. Just a lot of mileage.
Well, like, it's time. I reckon there's going to be so many, we always talk about this concept of like ethereal miracles, but really all the miracles we're going to experience in Tartaria consciousness is going to happen within ourselves. Like everything that we've ever spoken about, it's not out there. It's never been out there. It's always about us. It's just our authentic natures coming online. And so many cool shit things are going to happen in the next 12 months. Oh my God. We're going to literally Tartaria Australia and Tartaria everything is going to start morphing into a collection of goddamn superheroes, because we're all going to be sitting here sharing these really trippy stories that have just been happening to us while we've been sitting here on these podcasts and in our bedroom. And like, it's going to be our community that's going to be like, guys, like fucking my fingers are like shooting off electricity, like anyone else out there,
No, it will be that. And I think cinema
making plants grow.
The plants are growing every time I step my foot on the grass.
Oh
my God.
The flowers just open. Just walking through them.
Oh my God. All the platypuses are talking to me. All the platypuses are talking to me.
I get that anyway.
Platypus. Come on.
I've never seen a platypus. I would like to see a platypus.
They're crazy. Now, if you want to talk about one of the most made-up imaginatory animals here in Australia, it's the platypus.
What?
It's the platypus,
platypus and ninja. Oh my God, that's
real.
It's like a mixture of every mammal, every animal we have in Australia is the platypus in one.
So it's a duck, it's an otter.
Yep. Yeah,
It's chicken.
it's a reptile, it's a
Wedge
mammal,
feet,
it's a it's an amphibian,
lays
land.
eggs. It swims in the
Oh
water.
yeah, it lays eggs. A mammal that lays eggs.
Lives
Isn't
on
that
the
like
land.
An echidna.
Yeah, it's a marsupial. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a
and
monotreme.
hello,
so it's got a
Monotreme.
it's babies,
see,
guys.
a monotreme, yeah, because it doesn't have a pout.
Monotreme.
Yeah.
So
Do you know what
So
these
it's only
babies
one
are
of
called?
two monotremes, right?
Yeah,
You know what their
echidna.
babies are called, guys? Come on.
What are you telling me, Kelly? They're not
Very
real.
serious. No, they're real, but totally made up, Martin. They're real and made up. They shouldn't exist. They defy all probabilities of animals.
Aren't they? They don't
and
exist.
Their babies are called puggles.
Oh, they're so cute.
Get fucked. Puggles, come
Puggles.
on.
Puggles.
Find a picture. Find a picture of a puggle.
Yeah, they just
Cambells.
with us maybe as well. Maybe when they done this DNA thing, in the lab before they, did the arrivals. Maybe they just took different bits of all of the beasts on the land.
They did.
And why some people got like animal
like.
attributations. Yeah.
Yep.
Or,
it was like one of the
associated.
cryptos that actually worked. So
yeah.
Cool. Let's just, let it go swim in the river. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I did say Australia has got the weirdest friggin' animals in the world. Like, that's the truth. Like, hello, we have giant
kangaroos.
bouncing rat-roos. We have giant bouncing. What are kangaroos? Hello,
dingoes,
giant rat.
dingoes, echidnas, friggin'
kidnapping dingoes,
emus. What the
Emus
hell's
are
the
weird.
emu?
I get on an emu though. I've rid a cow. I jumped on a cow and rid a cow. They go like
they have emu races.
Hmm?
Yeah, there's emu races. They have.
I know. I've seen them. That's why they look really
cruel?
weird. And they're like that when you're on them,
creepy.
and the heads go all wobbly, don't they?
Maybe Australia's just like a completely different realm that got
It does feel like a different realm.
stitched.
Australia is a different
stitched
realm.
into
Have
this.
you seen
It's true.
the maps from that planisphere from what is it 14 or 1587, the massive planisphere with all the extra land?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it shows the land below Australia. It
shows Monty's map,
like extra land below Australia, and it's got stuff like the frilled neck lizards on it, and kangaroos, camels.
Yes.
So is
We've
you're not allowed to take an animal to Australia, isn't it? You can't take an animal to Australia because they had on a Simpsons episode. He took a frog to Australia and it became a chaswazza, and it like stabilized the entire
it'll kill everything.
Yeah. They claim that we've got the most.
But 200 years ago, you could just whack horses on a boat.
Camels.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the largest population of camels in the world.
Camels.
Of all the,
yeah, in the world.
Wild camels. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have thought that. And they associate camels.
And they all started.
Asia, Arabia.
And it all started from one camel. Like the actual narrative is they tried to bring two mating camels over, but only the male made it here, and that's all they tell you. Then the next thing is and then there's camels everywhere. It's like, well, who was he making the baby camels with?
Yeah,
that's trippy.
I think maybe they were already here. They were
and think about this one. Do you reckon you could? Yeah, could you put a camel on a boat from the 1700s? Little
that would be
boat,
difficult. Yeah.
Sail it across the ocean for 6 to 9 months.
Would.
And get off with a living camel.
The people were crawling off the ships onto the beach.
What if the ships were spaceships?
Yes.
What if the ships?
Why do we always
what if
call
the
them
delivery
ships?
of the red bricks? What if
Well,
the delivery of the red bricks?
It's not as nutty as it sounds like, because I put forward, like, with things like Venice and a couple of other cities, they look like they're the shape of a ship.
Yes.
Yeah. Or some of these buildings. There's one sketch in Monty Python where they show you like literally this building floating in the city of London and floating into its space where it's going to land and it's going to be. So we were wondering, hang on, when this was a watery world, the Phoenician world after they reset it and flooded it, were they just floating these buildings in, and then they're just sinking them, and then they're just there, So we have to surmise
a
that.
little bit too
low.
Just leave it.
They just look, exactly,
like
and they just look like ships.
The red bricks, like, is it possible? Like, who laid them all? They've all got mortar joints. Like, how's that possible? Like, how is it even possible? I mean, even if you give them a
trillion
10,000 year time frame, is it possible to lay trillions of bricks, I reckon?
I think when Tartaria was
Like,
over,
there's
and I think there was
60
trillions.
million just in one star flight.
Yeah.
I think they killed trillions over and over again. I think there was loads of people in Tartaria. Why? Because when you see the reset pictures like San Francisco and stuff, all of these buildings, and in Australia, these are to house many thousands of people in these office spaces, but the population's not there yet.
That's
so
true.
I'm thinking that they were for the previous population. There must have been a lot of people here in the past. Yeah. So there would have been a lot of people for these red brickers.
I agree with you, Martin. When I walk around Melbourne
we get
doing my
told there's
videoing.
lots of people now.
Sorry, Campbell. Go on.
That time thing again. And you guys are the same country.
People, but everyone could fit in Australia with an acre of land in the world. So we're not overpopulated at all.
Yeah, that's an illusion. And I know walking down Melbourne, you see all these like not grand Tartarian structures, but you see like the accommodation, like the houses for the Tartarian people, and they're really ornate, but they're smaller, and they're all over Melbourne. Like you can go and walk down like so many suburbs away from the city, and you can see the scale of the realm here in Melbourne. And these were houses, these were homing people. So like, I mean, absolutely the civilizations before us.
You know, I wondered whether any of these buildings ever got lived in anyway, and it was just a film set that never got used because, you know, they never got no toilets in them, you know, almost like they haven't been inhabited. And like you got a massive Tartarian structure, 3-story, and they got to go in a privy out at the back.
Yeah,
you know, go down the end of the garden in the winter in Britain to go into a toilet, a shed, basically.
Is that because they didn't eat, Martin? Is that because they were
well, this is what we're
from
thinking.
The ether?
They just didn't eat. Maybe just existing in this like semi-ethereal state where, you know, we're semi-translucent, zipping in between, you know, portal. You know, this is the world I imagine for Tartaria. You know, I thought these bunko booths, maybe that was a physical means. You know, step in one street, step out in like Washington DC or whatever. You know, just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Well, we're supercharged with electricity, so we should be able to do something similar to that, right?
They tell us that there's back doors to this. They had that film, the Assessment Bureau, something like that. It was about back doors in reality, time bandits. They tell us about these back doors in reality. There's so many films that say that you can navigate these portals. Oh, The Jumper. That was the one I was thinking of. See that
I'd love to.
And The Matrix, of course.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to do an astral journey into this. I don't know why I never did, to think back and see what happened at the reset. You were telling me this, Kelly. Did you say you need to check out what happened at the reset? Because look, I think it's got to do with galactic.
Josie.
I think it's got to do with galactic stuff. Dolores Cannon touched on this, and in her. Do you know about Dolores Cannon? So Dolores Cannon did. She was a hypnotherapist, and she hypnotized thousands of people and developed a technique where she was able to get people into a somnambulic state where they get to such a deep depth that their ego is not there, and they're literally in contact with their higher self.
Oh, I'd take hallucinogenics for the same effect.
She was able to glean from thousands and thousands and thousands of people, begin to piece together things about our reality. And one thing that came through about sort of galactic intervention was that they would only intervene to reset things if we were about to destroy ourselves. And so there was always something that they would come in and reset, but we would not remember it. It was like we were literally like taken up on ships. They did fiddled around and then brought us back again like in an instant. Right? And these are the beings that seeded the planet. So I've had that
will make a lot of sense to what we see.
I had a hypnotherapy session regression myself, and in the past life, and I put it up on YouTube, and then I took it down because there was so many crazy private stuff in there. But the afterlife, when I was taken back to this past life. Do you remember this, Campbell? And then the life, he says, "Where are you now?" After I died in that life, and I look around and I'm on a ship. So this is the life in between life. So I died, and then I wake up and I'm hooked up to a machine, and I look down and there's this guy, and he's talking to me in real time. And I'm like, who are you? And he goes, you always say that. And I'm what do you mean? And he's like, unhooking this machine. I'm in this simulation thing. And I'm going, what just happened? And I'm looking at my hands, and they're not looking like
You
the
popped
hands
out the
from
Matrix.
Yeah, I popped out of the Matrix. And I'm in this white room. It looks like a ship. And he goes, how do I put it? We go in, we help the humans, and we come out. He said, it's just a game. It's just a simulation.
Yeah, it is.
And we were just experiencing like these lives. So some of us are on ships. This is my theory. And we're coming in and helping the humans. Yeah. And we're helping the humans. We go in, we get out. We don't accumulate.
Our higher self. That could be. You know, it exists in a higher realm. They could be telling us through the Matrix, you know. I viewed the theory that we're living in, all of us are living in pods in 1972.
Oh, ...
This is why all of these rubbish is 1970s things coming back up. I love all of that, actually. I like it.
All the 70s stuff, yeah.
The real music.
70s
the real music, I was about to say that. Yep.
Yeah.
The music was music.
Sideburns,
They used to have some good truth music.
When did the music go shit? Whenever the music turned shit, that's when the Matrix.
It was the 80s and all the.
It's been shit my whole life, Jay-Z. It's been shit all the 80s, all the 90s.
The 80s were fun. The 80s were fantastic.
Awesome.
I love the 80s. Music was brilliant.
Bladders.
Oh, look, it's 1111 where I am. It's 1111 where I am.
10:11 where we are. This is great.
Yep.
Good time.
I got to do a special Fat Thumbs love boost at the 111.
7-Eleven. I'm going to go shopping.
I love it.
Campbell's got 640 people in his chat right now.
Yeah.
That's good, Campbell.
Happy
We're at 2 hours
Solstice
and half.
to you all.
2 hours and 30 minutes. How fantastic.
Yes,
what are you doing for Christmas?
We don't
do it.
We don't do it. I'm not doing it either. I don't celebrate
I'm going to work. I'm going to do a flatter day for everybody.
I'm going to a tiny home.
Have a special show. And me and my son, like, I was forced into Christmas. Like, my partner would, like, start Christmas in January and beat my Brian all year long about Christmas presents because we had a big gang of, you know, grandchildren, kids and stuff. But I don't have to do that shit anymore. Unless I can't cook dinner for myself. My son is like a veggie, like he's got a weird appetite, and he won't eat anything that like once breathed. So I can't cook dinner for myself. There's no point doing that. So
yeah,
I'll just speak with my beloved friends. That makes me happy. And
just be a breatharian that day.
I tried to purge yesterday and not have anything to eat. I just literally just had, like, for me is nothing, a cheese sandwich, a cheese roll, and these ginger shots because they got detoxifying, don't they?
Yeah.
And by about 12 o'clock last night, I just couldn't stand anymore. My stomach was rolling too much. And like all I could think about over everything else was eating. So I just went mad on the crisps and the smoothies and the Toblerones and just stuff last night.
And doing an anti-fast. I'm doing an anti-crisp.
I can't do it. And then I was like really like felt it like a food rush, and then I started to sweat, and I was like, because all day I hadn't eaten, and it does. It like takes all your energy to eat. It flattens.
It does.
You know,
it does.
It's like after a big meal, Christmas, narcoleptic turkey has got narcoleptic effects. You just fall asleep after your dinner. Is that a good thing? Yeah? I want to put the system on and dance around a room.
Yeah, we're drugged. We're drugged by food. Campbell and I did an awesome podcast debunking Christmas the other day. It was so much fun.
What, drug your food?
Yeah. Our food's been so. Anyway, we did this podcast and it was all about debunking Christmas, and we were just like, "Holy fuck! Christmas is a yearly reset." Like, actually, this thing
Easter
that happens
is an anagram of reset.
Oh my God, yes it is. We hadn't thought about Easter. Easter hasn't happened yet for Campbell. We'll do it on Easter time.
Yeah.
That's the real New Year, though, isn't it? When,
the real New Year's Eve, yeah, right.
Maybe today is actually a brand new day, and we've all woken up to a completely new realm and a new day today. All of that old stuff's just gone, man. It feels a lot lighter than I did yesterday. But there was good signs this morning of good things, so I'm happy.
Yeah, good.
And
yeah, I
if-
mean, I
Definitely
can,
things coming.
we can all say that.
Can't get
Yeah,
around
the
that.
energy, yeah, is definitely feeling better today.
Yeah.
The last,
Yes.
today.
yeah,
We're
it's been a
talking about
struggle,
this
like,
today.
you know, because I keep getting like these blocks as well. Like I said, with my trying to do this work and that, I'm getting like just attacked is all I can say. You know, I'm getting fucking demonically attacked by fucking bullshit and stamping on my head. You know, I feel tormented sometimes, guys. You know,
Yeah,
Mm.
we're hearing
but
that.
I can identify it. And I can get
Mm.
rid of it. You know, if you wake up in the morning, chase them demons away, and get on with your day. That
Yeah,
that
we get this
thinking.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's,
I've been having that, and that's increased with my fantastic dreaming as well. So that's got to be a sign too, you
Mm.
know. But it's just like, you know, they say, I always think of the analogy of Jesus being tempted by the devil and stuff, you know, in the wilderness, in the desert and stuff, you know. In this, it's just like that in this realm, man. But like, it's all superficial bullshit. I'm a bit too long in the tooth, and I've done it all.
Yeah.
You know, nothing in this fucking realm you can tempt me with, dudes. You know, it's just like, done it. Thanks. I want the spiritual. I want the awakening. I want this fucking beautiful life. You know,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
lower vibrational
Real.
bullshit. You're
Yeah.
real. You know.
Yeah. I agree with you, Martin. It's like we've got to a point where we've just decided to surrender it all. You know, we surrender it a fucking all. We're not attached to
I did
any
that. I
of
did
it.
give
Yeah.
myself to everybody in this community.
Yeah.
Just like open arms, here I am, But
Yeah.
that also, like,
Yeah,
you need to put
non-attachment.
it, you
That's
know, protect. Yeah, but you got to be protected, Campbell. You know, I set up my spiritual sort of process that I do, and golden aura of protection around me.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they know what I do. You know, they know what you do. They know what all of us do.
Exactly.
Because where do you think them, the powers that should not be, get their information? Where do you think they pick up on the zeitgeist? They come here. They get the feeling of the
They
moment.
tracked
The
us.
word on the internet. So where
Yeah.
do they go? To the truthers, who were always on the forefront of every
That's right.
fucking thing. Yeah. And that's where they get their information. So,
But they know who we are from birth. I feel that they track us and they
yeah,
track
they
our
track
frequency.
us. I've been a part of an
they track our
experiment
soul.
all along, and I know I have.
Yeah.
And I met other people who were also in on it as well. The
Yeah,
same,
they
exact same circumstances.
track our soul frequency, and
Yeah.
but also it's AI as well. There is a
is.
negative AI that holds the matrix, and
I used to think
I've
I was
seen the
kidnapped,
AI.
you know, sort of energetically kidnapped, if you like.
Oh yes, that happens
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
I used to think I was tested in the Montauk chair because in the
Ooh.
late 1970s, I had a dream, vivid one, where I'm in a black chair and the whole wall is full of widescreen black televisions. The thing is, then the televisions were big fuck off televisions in your room. I had no concept of these screens we have now, the black, you know, LCD screens. I had no concept. But this room in the late 1970s, 79, I was in high school.
Yeah.
Was just a wall full, and they were playing like they do in the Matrix, different aspects of reality. It's very much like Clockwork Orange, only none of that going on. I wasn't being vidied. They say with the Montauk chair, they try millions in it.
They did, and they took them from different time periods.
Mark Hamlin's supposed to be a Montauk boy.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
From different timelines,
they actually kidnapped a lot of the kids that were in the Montauk boys. They call them. They were taking them from different time. Yeah, they took them from different. That's how they got so many millions and millions and millions of people in that chair. That's crazy.
Energetic abduction. And it's the energetic field they're interested in. You know, I've been visited by some very unusual spirits in my life over the years, especially when I was at sea. Okay.
Ooh.
I can't go into too much details, but I was told by somebody who was I'm essentially a clairvoyant that it's your energetic field, Matt. You should be more careful.
Yeah.
You know, they seek people like us, our abilities.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
We have to shield ourselves and protect ourselves.
Shield ourselves, we have to police our thoughts, and we have to be responsible, is what I think. You know, grateful as well for being able to do it. Oh, I hope they're all buzzing in chat. Yeah, you got a massive crowd in. This is fantastic. Happy Solstice.
How many now?
I think swear words are somehow protective. I'm not sure how. Is that
swear
possible?
words? I don't swear.
Yeah, I swear a lot. I swear a lot. I think it cancels out things. excellent.
I've always been a swearer, but
freeze things, freeze energy.
It feels good as well. It's like,
that's why they tell you don't do it.
Yeah,
you go and it feels like all right. You go yeah. It's like that feels really good.
It's true.
I know.
There's something about it. I tell you.
Adds to it. Adds to the vibration. Anyway,
it's weird, isn't it?
Anyway,
Like, it's just a sound, but people get offended by it.
Well, it's the sound and the
It's
vibration.
like, you're walking down the street and you go, oh, look, there's a shop. And people are like, oh, how dare you say that word? It's like, okay. It's just a word.
Yeah, especially here in Australia. Very offensive here in Australia to swear.
Are you people
in Australia, a noun, an adverb, a proper noun. It's interchangeable to anywhere, the F word.
I think Americans get more offended with the swearing. I know in my chats when I say fuck and cunt and all that stuff.
They give me hell. They tell me to surrender to Jesus off my ass. And I tell you what else they do as well, is I've got like one of the biggest online American evangelist or whatever it is, religious YouTube channels hating on me. They keep making videos saying like I'm the Antichrist and stuff because I do humorous stuff. They might not. I might be the actual person who, like, literally the only person in humanity that proves that there was one of the Jesuses and he was like a real thing. That would be interesting. I'll shut them fucking up, wouldn't I? With their weird cult.
Gareth Atkinson in the chat just said fuckity fuck.
Fuck.
Gareth Atkinson. That's funny. No, everyone's swearing.
Look what you would have won.
Everyone's swearing in the chat now. You've set them off, Kelly.
Australians are essentially British people, but they're like a little bit American British, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we are. We're American British. Yeah, that's right.
That's the way we see you.
Yeah, I know. We've got a lot more American references here in our upbringings and childhood. Yeah.
Oh, we have as well. You know, I grew up with American television.
Not as much as you got. Really? Not as much as us.
Starsky and Hutch, Sesame Street, like everybody else. Charlie's Angels, all the important stuff.
True. Wonder Woman.
Well, growing up in Australia, I had the goodies. Do you guys remember the goodies? I love the goodies.
Black pudding. Yeah, goodies, goody.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the coolest show ever.
Yeah, man, it was
that was cooler than the Doctor Who.
Yeah. That stayed cool to the end. Yeah, Bill Oddie out of the goodies.
Shit on Doctor Who, come on.
They kicked him out of the BBC for calling him out. Yeah, man. When shit went on, Operation U Tree, Jimmy Savile shit and all that, he had this nature program called Springwatch. I absolutely loved it. He was watching badgers and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Guy's awesome, pure nature lover. And he started to speak out against them and saying, this stuff's been like in inheritance and covered up and all that.
Yeah.
Gone. They said he was mentally ill and he was gone from the BBC. And he wasn't. He was just a good man.
He wasn't.
Oh, he was a good man. So I always liked Bill Oddie anyway, the goodie.
Yeah.
Not so sure about the other ones. Was it Green? Tim. I can't remember. I have been watching Steptoe and Sons on YouTube just recently. They crack me up.
They're good ones.
Well, it's a similar thing. So my son visits here shortly. Like, and my son, it's like I'm turning into Harold. You know, not Harold. I'm like the old man. Yeah, you dirty old man. You. I'm getting a bit like.
Have you got those gloves, Martin?
The gloves.
I don't wash naked in the sink or anything. No, I haven't got them gloves. No.
Yeah, you should get some.
No.
It's very interesting with Australia because, you can really see what things programmed us. Like, it's just such a small history and such a small basic history. Like, it's so easy to see what we were.
You weren't all Skippy the kangaroo, were you? You had more going on.
Yeah, we had a lot more going on.
Skippy. We had so many talking animal shows.
Skippy.
Flipper the dolphin, Skippy the kangaroo.
Oh, Skippy the kangaroo.
Yep.
Lassie.
Oh my God.
I've had enough tears in this life over Lassie. No more.
Do you remember Flipper? Do you remember Flipper? The
I
dolphin?
remember Flipper.
Flipper's wicked. What's not to like? And you've got a dolphin on the thumbnail. I did notice that.
Yep. Of course. I added a dolphin above your head. Don't know why. Just was
because I'm a sailor and I love dolphins. I've seen many.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Because I was like, what animal to choose? And it was a dolphin.
Yeah, man. I've had them laughing their heads off me while I was nearly dying and stuff. They're really funny. They got a sense of humor. What are you doing?
Monkey Magic. Someone in the chat said Monkey
Oh,
Magic.
Monkey
Remember
Magic.
Monkey,
That
they
show
can call it
actually.
the crowd as well.
Monkey.
Awesome.
Monkey.
Monkey Magic
Chimichanga.
was based on
Chimichanga.
like was it religious? It was like a real
Yeah, it kind of.
Yeah, man. He bought it on
Spiritual.
a secret mountain. It became magically fertile. Yeah, and then he started. So it's like rock, and then he's became a god or out of a rock. It's all of this story. It is. You got Tripitaka, the Buddhist monk, and he's got taken to
Tripitaka,
pilgrimage, and that's undefinable if Tripitaka's a chick or a boy. I'm
Yes.
still undecided about that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Anybody know? And you
No.
got
Weird,
Monkey
isn't it?
and Pigsy. Who are
Androgynous.
fantastic, by the way. Yeah.
Everyone's in the. You could tell that it's
Pigsy.
the age group of
Okay.
everyone in the chat. Everyone grew up in the 80s in the chat. We got Banana
Yeah,
Man.
that's
You got
right.
his spear or his rod behind his ear, and you go like that, and once he takes it out of his ear, it goes
That's
into his
right.
mighty staff thing,
Yep.
which he can beat everyone up with. If you watch the remake, the new Monkey film, have you watched that at all?
No.
No.
With I think it's Jet
The
Li
new one?
plays Monkey.
Ah,
Watch it if you can. It's fab.
Really?
yeah. He gets
Oh,
put in
okay.
some sort of stasis where he can't move. He's turned into a statue basically for an eon. You know, for a time resets past. So somebody like basically in the modern day finds out about it and basically gets him out of this statue, and his monkey bursts out and he's back. It's Jet Li. So yeah, it was made a couple of years ago. Rehash of it.
Wow.
Flying
Okay.
clouds.
Step the sheep, eh?
Yeah, man. Fucking
Okay.
brilliant. That's just brilliant.
amazing.
It's best
Is he?
ever. He was funny as well, Monkey. He was a bit
Yes.
naughty as well, wasn't he? He wasn't well behaved.
No, who was it?
Yeah, no.
I
They
haven't
just make
seen
crap
ages.
shows now, don't they?
But it's just putrid, the stuff that's coming out
Well,
now.
not
It's like-
I don't watch it. Oh, do you know when I got
I don't
Amazon
even
on though, and I
want
play
it. Wouldn't yeah.
YouTube adverts are shit. Have you seen them?
YouTube
adverts.
Bernie, stop
All
calling me.
adverts,
You know-
they keep coming up, and there's these insipid
I just-
people out of the program, and they're not even human. You know, the black people have become white. I want my black people black again. You know, they're all like, what the fuck is going on with reality? They're all just the same. They look
Everyone's
the
woke.
same, act the
Everyone's woke.
same. Yeah.
Woke and having their soy lattes.
They
with their
busted it
mango.
last weekend. Like it was freezing day Saturday. All the British cities had massive demonstrations and protests.
Yes,
But
I saw that.
it's got good attention, good vibe, and all that. And it just shows that, like, so
They've had
many
enough.
now. If they haven't got it at this point, moronic, media control, then there's something seriously wrong with them, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And they're on about 10. I got like a postage on my last vlog. 10 jab card. If you get 10 boosters, you get a free Subway
Pizza.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
10 boosters. In what
10
time period?
boosters.
Are they sorting about
10.
months? Huh? I don't think
Well-
that, that first one, I think, was a placebo,
A couple of years ago, it would have been illegal to give that in less than like 20 years. Now it's like, oh, yeah, 6
Yeah.
But no, it had 10 years culture in for
Right.
any virus or anything. Because I live in a city where they search the cure for the common cold and the flu in Cardiff University. They take people from my community to go in there, pay them money, hit them up with the flu, and pay them like more wages than they would have had if they went to work. So I know people that just take weeks off work to go and have that done at the hospital. In Cardiff, it's been ongoing since I was a kid. And they said they could, no way they got a cure for the common
Wow.
cold, no way they got a cure for the flu, ongoing, and then suddenly they shit out a vaccine that takes 10 years to culture. Tested on animals in a month. It was on the shelves ready. All of them tapes and them things they put up all over the supermarkets, they rolled them out week 1. So what? They printed them all 3 days ago.
Yep,
They
all
were in
the
the warehouse.
stickers on the
ready.
floor. Yep,
Yeah, them. The circles, all of that.
Yeah.
Days in. It's like,
exactly.
There's
It was
something-
everywhere instantly. That's what gave it
yeah,
away.
yeah, they knew anyway.
That's
The
I
film
don't get why
songwriting
no one else
knew,
saw
right?
that. It was March 2019. I was just like, oh fuck, this is a scam, and everyone
Do you know
else
what
was
they did
lining
here?
up. Social distance.
On my street, all the side streets, they just, for no reason in 2019, they done these traffic painting things where they put 2020 in the roads. So 20 mile an hour for cars. But it's the program, isn't it? It's telling everyone 2020, 2020.
2020. Yeah.
Outside of my street. And it's worn off in a year. That's weird for
Yeah.
road paint. Excuse me a minute, I got to open my door. It's my sprog.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest oxymoron in the world is social distancing. I fucking love oxymorons. Social fucking distancing. Are we kidding?
Social distancing. Oh, I hate that language.
It's half the program, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get people to believe stuff that's ridiculous.
Kelly was talking about being spellbound and how people they're binding, you know, we're bound up in this language and spellbound, you know, and I think that the COVID language is just spellbound all of these people into complete compliance. It's so sickening. I can't stand the words. I've banned Xmas
into a little box.
I'm hiding in a off-grid tiny home.
I bet you've done nothing that everybody else has done, have you?
No, nothing.
It was terrible in school. I would do the opposite of what everyone else was doing.
They would say tuck your shirt in, and I'd untuck it on purpose. You know, I'd do the opposite.
I had a earring straight away. Do you know what they did to me? Right.
What?
Me and my friend Billy had our ears pierced. Yeah, when we was basically Form 1 in high school, so just 12. 12. They had us on the stage in front of 1,200 pupils, saying things like holding our ear like that. Okay, love. Holding our ear up like that in front of the old school and say, look at these little gay boys. We got to cast out a couple of little girls here in front of 1,200 people. Can you imagine them doing that in a modern day? That's what shit they would be in.
Oh, that would be so
I'm totally ridiculous.
Now they clap.
Calling us gay. Because we had earrings in front of the whole school. Headmaster.
Was that in the 70s or 80s?
1979.
79. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's what they were like.
I mean, I was still, I'm the same age as Kelly.
Reading about kids.
Listen, the whole of British society was drunken men beating and fucking raping on their fucking wives. This is what British society, The whole structure of it was fucked, Fat, greedy, mental cases. All absolutely paralytic, drunk, beating on their families and robbing. This is what's going on in British culture, and it was all like it. Yeah.
And I'd
Bigot,
say Australia was
racist,
like that too.
stupid.
Australia was like that too.
People. Yeah.
And Kelly and we grew up around the same time, and I remember. Kelly? It was like when I was still in school, they were still caning.
Yeah, I had it every
punishment.
day. Every day for about 5 minutes.
And then they'd get the parents to sign a paper. Listen to this.
Oh, man,
you'd have a permission slip. If your child plays up, we have permission. You know, just sign it to prove that you can. That they'll have corporal punishment, right? So there was, and then it was just the boys. This was in the 80s, and I remember, and I remember the notes going home to the boys in the class, and they were allowed, the parents that signed off that said, yes, hit him if he did something wrong in class. You can hit him. Can you imagine the betrayal that you
now it's like we're giving permission to get them vaccinated. Like the same permission slips are coming home. Like, do you give permission to come and get these kids?
Came me on my wrist, and the vein bubbled up like that, right? I got so scared, I thought I was going to die. I run out the door, run all the way home, got my mother. My mother dragged me, fuming. Went back up to the school to fuck up the headmaster, kicked his door open. What the hell is this? Went screaming in his face. He was like that. I would
have bollocked him.
In this day and age, that would have been a lawsuit extraordinaire, But they tortured me. They made sure that I was caned every day when they could get hold of me. So what was that one for? You were on bunk, with Mitchin last Tuesday. I'm Mitchin every day, So it's just almost, any excuse to try and break me.
Your light. They could see your light, Martin.
It was breaking me, trying to break me from the off. But I would make them cry before they made me cry. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, I was in for the game as well. I knew what they were up to, and I knew they were trying to break my spirit as well. Because I was like, life and soul.
This is why I pulled my daughter out of school this year. Pulled her right out of the system. Yeah.
Well, Are you okay to educate at home then, or do you need any degrees or anything to be able to teach?
No. There's so many resources. I mean, she's only 6, and she's she's got autism. Yeah. So that was the school itself even said.
I mean, she's super smart then, isn't it? Because I think autism really is a word that they give for exceptional children or children with skills, or they're not the same as the rest of society, so they just call them autistic, and all of them.
Well, she knows how to do coding.
I can drive them.
That's what they're good with. Coding, maths, ciphers, things like that.
Yep. She's 6 years old and she does coding.
Yeah. So they're like savants, That's what we're dealing with. It's just them saying that. I think it's just cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I pulled her right out of that system.
And it's good because we're taking them out of the spellbinding. So all these kids today, they're just indoctrinated into this spell that's being woven in the language, especially here in Australia around COVID, like so hardcore. They're taking them out, like breaks that spell, and suddenly you can see the difference in the population around us who have been spellbound by COVID, and us. Here we all are. Oh, yeah. What have we been saying? Words like mud flood, star forts, like electricity, ether, like Tartaria, like banisters and large. We've been using all these amazing building terms, actually. And this whole, as we construct and reconstruct and deconstruct the matrix, our turn round the way we want it. It's so interesting, the different language that the different communities are using right now. So get your kids out of there, man. Out of the spell.
Yes, and also out of the 9 to 5 grind. Because the way we're measuring. The routine. The whole thing of measuring time is like an unusual construct. Like we're measuring time, we're measuring something that doesn't exist, and then we're forcing this structure of you must be at school or at work at 9 a.m.
Yeah, bullying us.
But that structure is just out the window when you're homeschooling. You just do whatever. You can be learning in the middle of the night. You can be doing it on the weekend.
That's where it should be when the kid's interested.
And you're flowing with nature and your own rhythms.
It forces us to go to sleep in the afternoon, man. It's like all lay down, all go to sleep. I used to be like,
when you're
young. Tired. Do you remember that, Campbell? I used to lay there the whole half an hour of them. I never ever slept all that time.
So great, I have to just lie here, do I?
Hippie shake.
When I was growing up, they literally still washed my mouth out with soap.
They did. They did it.
Literally, my mouth washed out. Yeah,
soap and water.
with soap.
Why did they give people caustic soda? What was that all about? Not caustic soda. Not that kill them, wouldn't it? Obviously. What was that they used to give kids at night? And it tasted like shit. Oh.
It wasn't baking soda, was it?
No.
Cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil. No, that's good for you. No, that's good for you.
Cod liver oil is good for you. Oh, yeah. What is that?
I can't remember now.
Castor oil was another one.
Castor oil.
That makes you it makes you go to the toilet. It's laxative. I want to say hi to Jace Ventura in the chat. Hi Jace. Jace Ventura saying hi.
Yeah.
Say hi. There's a few people saying hi, so I'm saying hi. Castor oil. So do you know about turpentine? Turpentine as right. So the remedy of turpentine is sugar, and then they'll give them castor oil to help make sure that they did a poo to get the parasites out and all of that. That was that whole secret of the pine tree. And now what's everyone taking to get rid of the spike proteins? The pine needle tea.
Yeah,
and then the secrets
I'm on
in
the pine needles all the time.
Yeah. So in Tartaria, you know how we see the pine cones and everything in the architecture? Yeah. Is that part of the whole Tartarian thing as well? Like the pine cone motif is everywhere?
Yeah, it's in the Vatican. You see it in a lot of their iconography, on their architecture. Yeah, you see it. I've got a Phoenician antique clock from 1804 in my front room with two.
A Phoenician one or a Venetian? Phoenician. What?
Phoenician. Yeah, it's
got
it's Cheddar Banuski iced, but it's got like two little pineal glands on the corner.
Yes, it is.
They have it on their old furniture as well.
Transmitters. Yeah. Wow.
But that can be cleared through vibration. These vibrations.
Sorry.
I try to do them inside, we're not audible. So like an arm or something. So like years ago, if you were in pain, say you had a screaming toothache, you could emanate a vibration like aura through your body and it would help with the pain. Yeah.
Yes. I do that with tuning forks. I've got that and it works.
It works. Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
So,
I did
you
it to
know,
my daughter. She hit her head, and I did the.
I do when I went on the road and I watch the birds know I'm doing it because they come in and they go swooping down past my face to take a little look and stuff. So like I'm like literally vibrating my you know, anyway, and I'm giving out all these waves that they can
Wow.
see, you know, just through like inner chanting. It's not audible. It's just like vibrating all of the atoms in your body,
Vibrating, yes.
on that frequency. Just find a pitch that's comfortable and oh, that
I'm
feels
going to
nice.
do
Like,
that. I'm going to do that.
or something that feels comfortable and relaxing, like that.
Yeah. I do that when I meditate sometimes, and it heightens the meditation. So I'll do it in the sun. So I let the sun hit my forehead.
Best way.
And and sometimes do sun gazing and stuff. But I do this tone, and then it just heightens everything, all the visions, everything, the vibrations raising. It's amazing.
And it's a great way of relaxing your mind from thought as well, because you know, it just thoughts lift away when you're doing that as well, which is nice because thinking all the time can be hard work. I find now with this new art that I'm studying of the power of observation. Yeah, so just being an observer in reality, and just watching and observing. It's a whole new game. It really, really is. You're unattached. You don't, you know, it's just beautiful. It's an absolutely stunning thing to be able to just still be there in it, but not in it, more of an observer and an interactor where need be. It's a bit like being a baby god, if you like.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, baby god. What a great word.
Getting to be better ones, bigger ones.
When you're doing that observing, do you ever see glitches in the Matrix? I've had so many glitches.
Well, my thought pattern stopped when I observe, so I can just be staring at a mundane thing, like a bit of just gone miles away, looking at a bit of wallpaper, if you like. But then I will be just observing everything else in my peripheral vision. But then then I will become aware that my thoughts have stopped. So I found calm and inner peace and motionless where I want to be. Because, you know, that's it. That's a hard thing to achieve. You know, we're all of this movement all around us. So when you find that stillness and that calmness inside, you know, that's the place you really, really want to be, you know. That's a healthy vibration. Healthy vibration.
Varans did grasshopper. Varans.
Grasshopper. Yeah, David Carradine. Classic. Ended up Cambells and Devil Worshipper. Never mind.
Wow. We've been going 3 hours.
I know
you guys.
I was going to say, we've just hit 3 hours and Kelly looks like she's about to fall over.
A little bit. I know. I made that mistake of standing today. I always stand so I can jump around, but I should have maybe
acting like she gets tired, but she messages me at 1 a.m.
I know. Anyway, I've got the organic blueberries going. So I'm supercharging my feet.
When you have a buzzy show, if I have a show late and it's been buzzy,
I'm
no
like,
chance sleeping.
No.
That's what my body's like. It's like I got no chance. It's just like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I'm just dropping off.
Yeah, me too. My whole sleep's on UK time. I've got all my friends are in the UK. I'm just like, I don't go to bed until like 3.
Yeah,
I know, we're terrible. It's terrible. What is so you guys are we're on night hours, aren't we? We can't help it. Oh my god. Do you guys can you even do it? Can you go to bed at like 9 o'clock at night? I can't do it. I try.
No.
I can't go to bed before 1 a.m. these days.
Me neither. It's terrible.
I went to bed really early last night at midnight.
Same. I went to bed about 12 o'clock. But then I had a mad
great
month,
sleep.
and I had to sit that way for it to all go down before they don't. Yeah.
Look at all these beautiful people in the chat. What an amazing group. I'm just I'm kind of glancing at it. Hippie Shake.
Yes.
I love Hippie Shake. Hippie Shake.
She's awesome. I met her.
Bernie. Hello, Bernie.
And I see Ventura too. I'm going to say hi to Darren. I feel sorry for Darren. Darren Price. He said, I'm leaving because I didn't say.
So if I can find your channel, Quantum Truth JC.
Quantum Truth JC. I've got about 91,000 subscribers, Martin.
Wow.
I only started last year.
No, I don't know.
You've got to look at my.
Our paths have now crossed anyway, haven't they? So
I know. Well, you've got to look at my underground remote view stuff.
All right,
and all of that. All my started the first videos, four videos, and then
Yeah, this is sort of
And
things
then-
I'm working on in my brain at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
to find bigger truths.
I don't do a lot of remote views anymore publicly, but yeah, no, I do talk a lot about spirituality and, you know, raising a frequency and all of that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to be telling people your own stuff anyway. They use all that shit against you.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
To get too much about know too much about you. You know, they do that
Yeah.
psychoanalyzing bit on you.
Capalicious in the chat.
Capalicious is my awesome brother.
Yo, shared my link in the
Capalicious, how
chat.
you doing? Awesome.
420, hey? He shared my
Yes.
link in the chat. So
That's
there we go.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they're so good. You mentioned something, and someone will find the link and post it in the chat. It's like,
I
wow.
know, they're amazing. Because you know why? Because they're all
They're
critical
I
thinkers
know.
and they're all researchers. They're all researchers, so
They're all
they just
Smart
thinkers.
motherfuckers. That's who we deal with. Smart
They're
motherfuckers.
They're all right on the money as well to the moment. You know, they know everything, the whole journey so far, and everything that's happened, and they're right there with us at this moment. It's, you know, not lagging behind on nothing. Like everything's now. Man, it's exciting.
Yeah, on the edge, and it's all about to happen. Just
Jay
keep
said,
that
you
vibe
raised my
high.
frequency, Jay.
The vibration. Nobody listen to the news or any bullshit or any scariance. Okay, because that's an obvious.
No, yeah, and remember that, you know, like I think you said it, Martin, like truthers who are just spreading the media, you know, the narrative. They're not truthers. Don't listen to them.
Exactly. And
If
you know
get,
what? It's been infiltrated.
So many.
There's that intel thing keeps you. I always talk about I hate the intel. Sorry, because of lag. It's this lag. Or the intel. I'm like really anti-intel because I just think, it's just keeping you stuck in that discussion about this intel and waiting for the thing and waiting for the thing, and then you've got intel on top of intel, and it's just got lies built on top of lies, and it's just the same as the mainstream media. It's all fear porn. Why do that? Why would you manifest this? Why would you manifest this reality into this narrative that there's? I would rather do what you guys are doing, which is critical thinking. Let's dissect where did we come from. Once you understand where we came from and the basis of all of this, everything starts unraveling and all the truth will be revealed and everything starts to make sense.
And you can see it with your own eyes.
You can see it with your own
freaking eyes.
See it with your own eyes and unlearn everything. And that's what you have to do. You know, when you pull the kids out of school, you have to do something called deschooling, which is you deschool the child, but you deschool yourself because you have to completely deprogram this. And get this, because school started in Prussia, right, at the time in the early 1800s, the Prussian army, they created schools so that they were the most powerful armies in the world. They were winning all these wars, whereas the other countries set up their armies from farmers and farmhands and just random people, and they were just they were so free thinking, right? Their armies were set up with free thinkers. They would just abandon and like do whatever they wanted, and they could never get them into line to do what they had to do. So their battles were being lost, and the Prussians were like winning all these battles. So that's when they came in and said, right, we've got to implement this. And they started this whole system around, well, we don't know, because was it during the reset? Was it after? But they began this plan, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds began this plan of implementing a school system into their industrial factory system so that they could get both parents into labour and take the kids away from.
They're doing it now with latchkey kids. They're just separating everybody. You hardly see that kid.
All based on an army to militarize the public. Right?
Yeah, I've always said, JC, that school, its main priority is to teach kids that there is authority. Like that.
Well, it's paramilitary anyway, isn't it? An organisation. They all got uniforms on. And what's with the fucking uniforms anyway? I think like there's something going on with these fucking uniforms in school. I'm telling you now, they're weird, evil motherfuckers.
Absolutely. It just complies. Unbelievable.
It's all, symbolism. Make everyone the same.
Have you noticed that when you're walking? Because I remember, Martin, I was watching one of your shows and you were talking about how you walked in without a mask in one of the shops. And
man, all ganged up on me.
Yeah, and they all ganged up on you. But that happened to me in my post office quite a few times. And And I walked in with that, and I said, I have medical exemption, and I did the whole, I've got CFS, common fucking sense, you know.
Yeah, I say I'm immune. I say you're immune. Yeah, immune to bullshit. Simple.
But now, guess what? Not wearing masks anymore.
Listen, you dudes, you can't talk about not wearing masks until you've lived in fucking Melbourne. I tell you that right now. Like, you try not wearing a mask for 18 months in this communistic state. It's been ballsy, man. Ballsy.
I seen a girl getting filled in, and she had an exemption card. That copper, the policeman got it. Okay, I filled it in the street. You see that, a young girl?
It's been outrageous here. Yeah. But really
I'm
fun.
just going to take no notice like I always have and just carry on as normal.
You just carry. It's you've got to shield up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. That's what I noticed when you're.
Listen, I've travelled through it all, and I'm taking notice. You know, I went through I've been to London. I've been every single place, right, with packs. You know, stations and everyone's the only person unmasked. They just gives me a stinks bad thoughts at me, and I don't give a shit because I'm just. And I won't wear an exemption card because that's just like a nasty yellow star, so I'm not doing that. And all I says to him is, "Are you a trained medical official? I don't think you are you? You know, so I'm not really, you know, at privity. You know, I don't want to tell you anything about my health." And they get their hair off and think that they have to. Oh no, you have to show your exemption card. No, I haven't. Yeah, no, they don't know anything about.
Do you know why they won't give an exemption for well, they can't give a medical exemption because everybody has the right to breathe. So
well, it's mandates and not laws, so it's not laws. Everyone's doing it by consent. Every single one of them, all of it is by consent. Every single thing that they're doing, the vaccine, consent. All of it is consent. They don't have to do any of it. They've just been told that they have all of these mandates.
And you can actually, you can actually go to the websites like the government health websites, and it actually says cannot be enforced. Under the mandate, it says cannot be enforced. That's why you walk past cops; they won't actually do anything. If they're, you know,
they do in Melbourne. I have to say, like, it's really wicked what's happened here. Like, they've actually got the police. They've actually got the business owners policing the people now because like they're doing these spot checks. And I know I'm around all these business. They're doing these spot checks where they go in and they're doing 500 a day random anywhere in Melbourne. And it's $100,000 fine.
Wow. So these they did that here. They did that here too.
These businesses who have just dealt with the biggest amount of lockdowns in the fucking world, and now if they get caught with a unvaccinated person in their business, $100,000 instant shutdown, $100,000 fine. So they've freaked out all the business owners. So this right now, currently, and probably for the last 5 months at least, I have not been able to enter any business premise whatsoever, restaurant, anything apart from the supermarket.
Yeah, you're not missing out anything anyway.
I know, I fucking know that, right? Because I look at them now and go, whoa,
you don't even actually want to be around these people. They buzz
off. It's shedding, that's right. Like, I don't want to go there.
For the first time on Saturday when there was that freaky full moon energy. Yeah. I had weird things happening. I had this stalker that I used to have like 2 years ago. There was a stalker. I was obsessed with him. Anyway, he was parked next to me. He was parked. This is the first time I ever went to the shop since July, right? Wow. And he was there. It was like the Matrix was It was like this 3D, 5D thing.
Sometimes it's like the Truman Show, like the people you expect. I know.
I was like, it was an Agent Smith. I was just like, what? And he was right there. And as I was coming back to my car, he was coming back to the car, and he was like, ding, ding. And I was like, ugh. And I had this like freak out thing going, oh my God. And everything was just twisted, and everything was inverted, and just up was down, down was up. It was everything was just so bizarre, all because I entered into the 3D realm. It was like I went into that world, and I went, something's happening. There's something flipping. Something's flipping. And I had heard from so many seers and psychics and intuitives all saying the same thing, that this time it's almost like the timelines are converging and collapsing. And I think we turned a corner last night or this morning.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we did.
I could feel it as well.
After that full moon. And Vedic astrology at the moment, I want to just clarify something. I wish I could give the exact thing of what it is, but Mars, it's the equivalent of Mars in Scorpio in Vedic astrology at the moment, and that's why you've got all this contention. Like,
if Mars goes into retrograde, everything goes to shit, doesn't it?
No, that's Mercury. No, this is Mars in Scorpio, and it's lasting, this energy, this really combative, weird, feisty sort of energies
Polarized.
polarized energy into January. That's why you're seeing a lot of things happening that are really
Weirdness and
freaky.
anger and stuff out there.
Anger. But
I've seen it out
let
there.
let that sort of transmute. By the end of January, we'll be coming out of it, though, apparently.
Oh, good.
So
I heard like the time we're living in now, if you was to pray or meditate, that your prayers and meditations will be 100 times greater than they would have been in any normal time.
yes, things are manifesting so fast, right?
That's how important this time is to transcendence. Yeah.
That's why we've got to manage where we place our focus. We can't
exactly what I tried to say earlier.
On the intel.
It's fucking difficult, but it can be done, you know?
Yeah.
Someone just said that Venus is going into retrograde. What does that mean?
It means that everything's going to go to poo. It happened about a year ago.
It's going to go to poo. Damn, I thought it was going to go to love, man. Or poo.
And then I had a terrible week, and then when it went back, and everything picked up again. I felt like, and everyone I spoke to had crappy weeks. I was like, yeah, the vibration was really off. I felt fat as a pancake. There was no good buzz going on. Usually, I'm getting all like, you know, waves and goose pimples all day long when I think about shit, you know, or interact all day. But for that week, everything was flat. I was like, what's going on? Where did you go? Where's my buzz gone? But I definitely think that the Illuminati or the powers that should not be definitely do everything by the sky. You know, they brought, they induced Prince Harry and made him born like on a summer solstice. So it's important to them this date, and all solstices they go on the sky as well. And battle dates as well, and natural disasters. I covered them in my latest book. Like I cover the witch's calendar, which shows you very important days, and you want to see the amount of shitty things that happen on them days that they play off. Famous battles, some mass sacrifices of tens of thousands of people. The blood's got to run.
Always around May Day.
Aberfan, I don't know if you know about this. It was a school in Wales, and a mountain, a coal slip slid down and killed 250 kids in the 60s in Wales. And that was also on one of their more poignant calendar dates. So yeah, I think that they use the sky, definitely. You know, they say that the country of Britain is in the house of Aries, the same as Germany, right? They say that Britain and France will never be able to have a cordial because they are in a separate house altogether, which is why we haven't really gelled all that well with our French neighbours. But the Germans, we share the same house with them, it's House of Aries, which sort of stinks.
And that's the royal family are German.
Yeah.
Saxe-Coburg,
Saxe-Coburg, Germans. There are two Romes, and there are two Londons. There are, you know, there's the London, this is city-state, the same as Washington and Rome itself, Vatican. But there's another London, you know, which is kept quiet, and then where all the money and everything is filtered through this place. Like you mentioned the Rothschilds earlier, you know, they bought Britain. They hijacked Britain in 1915. So basically, you got the Battle of Waterloo goes down. They send a courier back. He comes back and he's saying, "Look, we just got beaten." Everyone sells high, sells all of the shares. The Rothschild buys them all out. And the real courier walks through the door and says, "No, man, but Bolter turned up with the Prussians at the last minute, and it was a divisive victory." Like, oh shit! Like, you know, we just sold Britain to the Rothschilds bought it in the 1800s. Britain.
Changing subject. When Venus is in retrograde, someone just in the chat. Everything goes to poo. No, this could signal challenges and deal breakers for people in relationships. While new relationships starting during this time may feel perfectly crafted. So it's a recrafting of relationships. It's time to change the shit show. And people are talking about this 1666 fire of London. Yeah, Martin, I've got to get you together with Richard Balducci, my friend. He's a big researcher. He does what does he call it? Archaeocultology. So he is
good word.
Does the occult? Yeah. So he dissects the occult through the archaeological
researchers.
I do this too.
Yeah, you've got to get together with him. He's he's dissected so much of these dates.
Oh, interesting. That's what we need, collaborations to get forward like that.
He's an American guy, Richie Balducci. I'll get you together with him. I'll send you his email address. You'll love his stuff.
Do we have second cities here in Australia? Like, is there a city of Sydney or a city of Melbourne? Do you know?
Well, you've got London or an East London, haven't you? And Sydney's replicated as London. You have a Hyde Park in Sydney, the same as London.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, so they replicate a lot of the street names, park names, and city layouts as well, you know, are replicated. But that's from an earlier time, and it's part of the city grid, you know, the way this place worked. You know, these churches, all of this was
New South Wales, right?
New South Wales. You got it.
Well, Martin, you did that show, and you were talking about
Queen Victoria, Queensland,
Victoria. Victory over who, though?
Queen.
Yeah. Martin, you did that show
Queen Victoria.
You did that show a couple of months ago about how New York, it was actually old York. It was like the original York, and then that
it's a reversal. Yeah, well, it's the older world. You know, they say it's the new world, but it's the older world. This place had a massive civilization. I think New York's secret. Yeah. I think that would have been probably the first York, is what I'm thinking.
That fits in with what Joseph Smith from the Mormon Church was.
And all of these.
Joseph Smith.
You know, when you hijack
Egyptian stuff there.
If you hijack a civilization, you want like place names, don't you? So that's what they've done. You know, the originals of the old world, they reversed it with the Columbus psyop, and then you know, so then we've got the first you know, Newark in Britain, the first Boston in Britain, the first Washington in Britain. All of these names that are replicated, and I feel that they're not the originals. In fact, they could be not the originals anyway, none of them. This could be, you know, somewhere outside of you.
I think I've got this photograph. Because you know, I uploaded Ewa Adon's, History of Flat Earth.
Yeah,
that's got like 400,000 views on my channel now, because everyone went there, because I uploaded it after it got taken down. I re-uploaded it for him, and I put the thumbnail on there of this photograph that was taken outside of the dome. I think
I've got it. I've got that.
Come on, put it up. Someone show me. Come on, bring it up.
Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Just give me
but basically it's a Mercator projection inside, so it's like not an azimuth equidistant flat Earth projection. You can't have a man-made map.
No, what it looked like was it was like an Earth map with outer lands.
Yeah, you got it.
But there was the ice cap around, so there is a firmament around. But what I think is, over our particular Earth map is a matrix grid that's keeping us locked in. But then you've got the firmament.
I feel that. Yeah.
And we're on the edge of the firmament.
It's a bigger realm.
And we're Antarctica.
So we've only got a bit of the time. Yeah.
It's part of it's on the edge of the firmament, right? So, but we're like a circle within a bigger.
Yeah, I think that net, Jay-Z, called the dark web. Literally.
But I've seen it in the sky. Have you seen it? Like the grid, it's like this weird grid. I saw it over.
The grid system.
I've got to be careful. Gitmo, when I did the remote view of Gitmo, I saw it over Gitmo, and it was like they were like locked in. Yeah,
because we talk about the internet, and we talk about the dark web, and like we don't think of them as literal physical places. We don't actually see them as physical anymore.
No, we don't.
But that grid over us is literally the dark web.
If I can, am I allowed to share screen, Campbell?
Putting all our consciousness up onto the cloud.
Yeah.
Day, guys.
Am I allowed to share screen?
Look at that.
Oh, he's got it.
I'm just gonna.
Are you sharing? Do you want me to get off?
No, I just wanted to show that photograph that you were talking.
Let me just scroll through. I got so many maps.
How beautiful they are. They're so beautiful.
I know. It's hard to believe there's my star
footage.
Amazing,
gorgeous.
Definitely part of the story to do with the vibration.
I can tell you what, fuck Google Earth. It is so unimaginative. It is so unbeautiful.
Google
Seriously.
Earth is so bad now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It was probably designed in 1 year after a competition by a strange man who came returned from the gold rush. We had Google Earth.
Yeah. He then came back to design, PayPal and Google and everything else that we have.
How's Perth feeling, Campbell? How are you feeling in Perth over there? You feeling the energy shift?
Yeah, Perth's. Yeah, I am. Perth's fairly, it's been fairly, not stagnant, but pretty smooth. Like nothing's much has happened here, and so people are, there's not as much force for people to wake up either. I guess because we haven't been locked up and stuff, so it's weird. I don't know. I think it might be the
The
MPC
ancient grid there, feel them lines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just nuts, isn't it, Campbell? The whole of Asia's the best to pick up on them lines. And if you go up to Siberia, they go like just straight lines for thousands of miles. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just perfect lines. It's just the mentalist of things.
Mad,
look at that for real sizes, so you could fit all of Europe into America.
Yep.
All the maps are to shit. And that's Greenland. It would fit just there.
Yep.
In reality. So all that displays water. Let's go over that. So on the map,
Well.
they displace all that water as well. Yeah.
Well, I have to because it turns to water.
Well, I have to
have you found it, JC?
No, I'm just scrolling through it on you somewhere. I got thousands of maps, Campbell. That was one I discovered years ago.
Is that one?
Hang on. I'm
Do
just
you have the photo of the dome?
Yeah, 1 second. I've got to get through my list. Yeah, I know. You're it's my number 150 video. It's my number 150 video, but I've got to try and I don't know how to get just the thumbnail up.
Well, your channel sounds fab.
Yeah, have you got it? See, it takes the thumbnail away and it won't let me show just the thumbnail.
Yeah, doesn't it? I know, it's so annoying.
That's the maps, but it's a photograph.
So if I go to number 150, I don't know if you guys can see. Can I zoom in?
I'll stop sharing screen because you can't share two screens at the same time, and just
no. All right, well.
There you are. Share screen.
Right,
I just love those maps, man. I look at them from the artistic lens, and they're just
I used to just sit there looking at maps as a kid for hours, looking at the topography, the contour lines, trying to work it out. Oh, that's steep there, and just seeing it in my mind how the land laid.
They're just beautiful, unbelievable.
This one down here.
Yeah, this one here. Can you see that photo?
Oh, yes. Oh, I've seen this. Yes.
I got it. Yeah.
Lost history of Earth. Can you see that? Lost history of flat Earth.
Yeah.
The 5 hour doc. So, can you see that photo?
My mate Lee found that photograph.
Yes. Okay. Well, someone sent it. Somebody emailed it to me, and it was just after I did a video where I was talking about this massive download I got about the flat Earth, and I saw it all, and it was the realm. I saw the outside realms. I actually saw the whole thing. See the ice caps. You can if I go on it, it takes it away. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
the ice caps. Yeah, but there's extended Earth outside of it. Well, what I saw was, when they talk about the white hats. I'll just stop sharing now because there's no point. But that's my channel if you haven't seen it already. I mean, these are all the videos. Quantum Truths, JCK, and that was the video I did about the elder who came through to me and the Snowy Mountains. That was really interesting. Right, so I'll stop sharing and come back to you guys. So I saw. So there was this land outside, but we were trapped, and it was like there are people on these other lands. Okay, that's what I saw, and. So, but what's happening is, this is something that I picked up, was, how you have the missing 411? Have you heard of the missing 411? The people David Paulides talked about. So there's a guy named David Paulides who was an ex-police officer who started
the
missing people that had these certain traits in all their missing people cases where they just disappeared with no trace. They were always... Like sometimes their boots were just left, or they would always have the same patterns in these national parks, right? And I got shown that there was like a rip in the almost like 2 dimensions touching each other, right?
Yeah, where the veil is thin between dimensions.
Yes. And because of the granite stone, there's certain frequencies that granite had and all of that. So these people were slipping into the outside realm, outside of this sort of world map that we've got, right? And they're ending up in these other lands. And I actually was theorizing that a lot of the people outside of this matrix construct that is locked down, that they are the white hats. So these are the people that are supposed, so they're part of the military, along with our future selves, right? And people here in the astral. So this is all that's happening, to dissect and take down whatever it is that's going on here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is part of the white hat.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about the white hat army, but it's the people who are already from the future, or they're already from a higher frequency dimension, and they're reporting back through military energy. And that's what they're doing. They're almost like getting information from the future or whatever, and getting all the data from the good AI, right? So there's this good AI and the bad AI.
It have to be good, I think.
Yeah.
So have to have an accurate representation of reality for a start off.
Yes.
So it would know that what's happened, the controllers, the slave, slave masses.
But I think that the bad guys can't get out.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And that's why they're either clinging to us. They're clinging to us for food, right? Pollution, all of that.
Our energy fields.
They're trying to lock us down.
That's
They're like,
Operation Fishbowl.
Yes.
Yeah, they're finding out.
Or they're trying to hijack. Yeah, a lot of them are trying to hijack us.
It's like I saw a representation the other day where they were literally trying to attempt to escape through a portal, escape from the firmament, but they ended up closing themselves in. And this great focus right now on humanity is to get, they think that they can do it by accumulating a lot of souls, self-sacrificing themselves to get them out. There's some magic in that. So like the vaccine is a self-sacrifice, isn't it? Like people have lined up and said, we'll willingly give you our souls. And that whole exchange is something to do with them thinking that they're going to be able to break through the firmament or get out of this realm right now, but it's not working. They're stuck. They're trapped. They can't do it.
And that's why they do the sacrifices over things like the Vatican. Vatican is a major portal. They're trying to keep the portals locked in. Now, this is where the portal stuff happens. The magic, talk about the electricity. Kelly, I was telling you about this morning or last night, I can't remember, about the polar, so the divine feminine and masculine. They're trying to prevent us from coming together 100%. to take down these. So they're trying to keep the portals shut, right? So that nobody gets out. Nobody gets out. You're not getting out. You're all in here with us, right?
Oh, they keep telling us.
Yes, but
we're in quarantine. We've been quarantined.
We're going to ascend regardless, right? They're shutting the borders, so all these people can't get together and do it, right? and so but we can, as we're trying to raise our frequency and trying to get together and all of that, activate these portals. We're trying to activate them with love. They're activating them with fear and death and depravity, right? Well, they're not activating them; they're locking them down and keeping them closed. And we're trying to activate it with love, the love frequency, and that is the higher vibration. Great, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they can never, essentially, they can never leave this density. They can never leave. They're never going to be unlocked from this density. So they literally retain a hellish realm around themselves.
And that's why, you remember Hillary Clinton talked about the glass ceiling and trying to...
Yes, very famous.
She can't get
talking about, we got to get us out of here. We got to get out of here. Right?
Yeah, they're trapped. My teacher always said that the Earth was quarantined. We literally were quarantined. In fact, I actually made artwork about the Earth being quarantined like 17 years ago. And here we are, literally like being told we're quarantined all over the place. But yeah, they're quarantined. We're all quarantined. We're full of black goo. We have to be quarantined on this room.
Lost at sea.
Yes.
We are lost at sea, indeed. Exactly. Yep.
The virus is in the matrix, right?
I'm supposed to be the internet worm, according to the Illuminati cards that I'm in.
Internet worm.
I'm gonna fuck this shit up royally.
Oh my god! I think this is possibly the longest live I've ever been on. Not quite.
I was
This is
just
a long
three
ride.
and a half hours now.
I did do a 6
Wow.
hour
Look,
ride once.
dudes, I think
I've
we've got
done
to stop at 333. See,
Yes,
it's
we've
about
got to stop
it's
at
So if
3,
you haven't
3,
streamed with
2, 24.
Bernie, you don't know.
Campbell,
We've
get
got
with it.
Or
literally
33333. Oh my
30
gosh.
Yep,
Do
30
All right.
seconds before it's
All
All right,
333.
guys. So we're
Bye,
going to end
everybody in the
soon.
chat. Bye,
333.
Martin.
Happy
So-
All right. We love you
solstice.
all.
Oh my God, how awesome.
Have an
Thank
awesome
you, everyone.
solstice. Thank you for joining us. Oh my
Lovely to
God, the
meet
suspenders
you.
are killing me. Am I going to get the number right?
Yeah,
Love you
he's gonna
all.
get it. Woo!
And
333.
we
Do it.
bid you
The final measure of
adieu.
pressure is on you,
Ciao.
Campbell.
Do it.